Chapter 764. Big brother Yuan, let me feed you instead, Zhao Ping said coquettishly. Her actions were coy and almost made Qin Yuan throw up. If it was a pretty woman acting coquettishly, it would still be understandable. But Zhao Ping was such an ugly woman. Qin Yuan clutched his chest and felt nauseous. In front of so many people, Qin Yuan still had to endure it. Sigh. It was so painful. He obviously felt disgusted in his heart, but he had to hide it. Qin Yuan could not express the bitterness in his heart. Yuan, that last Ping, is so diligent in feeding you. If she tells you to eat, just eat. Mu Chunfang added an untimely sentence. After saying that, Qin Yuan's face darkened. His mother was really. Didn't she see the displeasure on his face? She actually stood on that stupid woman Zhao Yun's side. Mother, big brother Yuan, what's wrong? Don't you want to eat? Qin Yuan's face darkened again. He gritted his teeth and finally made up his mind before eating the food that Zhao Ping handed over. Zhao Ping laughed as if she was very happy. She looked at Qin Yuan with a somewhat infatuated gaze. Qin Yuan felt that the food that he had swallowed was about to be thrown up again after seeing Zhao Ping's face. He hurriedly turned his gaze away and did not look at Zhao Ping anymore. Otherwise, he was really afraid that he would not be able to control his nausea. When the surrounding people saw this, they laughed mockingly again. Qin Yuan frowned and blamed these people's mockery on Zhao Ping. If it were not for Zhao Ping, he naturally would not be laughed at by others. Ugly woman. While she was still useful to him now, he would endure it for the time being. When his life got better in the future, he would dump Zhao Ping. It was just that he had to suffer for now. Mu Chunfang could see Qin Yuan's disdain and displeasure. He sighed slightly and knew what his son was thinking. Yuan, hurry up and eat. Mu Chunfang called out to Qin Yuan. It was not easy to come to Zhao Yun's stall for a meal. They had to eat well. Only by eating more would they not be at a disadvantage. Qin Yuan nodded. When it came to eating, he felt a little better in his heart. After all, their family was poor, and Zhao Yun's stall had a lot of food that they couldn't eat on normal days. Families started eating, and the more they ate, the merrier. The few of them were like evil spirits. After eating a lot of food, they still didn't have enough and continued to eat. Seeing this situation, Zhao Yun frowned in disgust. The members of the Qin family were really greedy for small gains. Don't you know how to be more reserved when eating other people's food? After eating so much, they did not feel embarrassed at all. Of course, the reason why family Qin could be like this was because of Zhao Ping, the idiot. As soon as she saw that the food in front of family Qin was reduced, she hurriedly stuffed it with food. While Zhao Yun's family was busy, Mu Chunfang secretly stuffed a few meat buns from the table into her sleeves. She had eaten enough. Now, her stomach felt bloated. Since her stomach could not hold it, she would bring some back. These buns and other things could be warmed up on the table. Mom eat Chuan, wants to eat. Qin Yuan's silly brother began to make a fuss. As he spoke, he snatched Mu Chunfang's bowl and began to eat. These were the noodles that Mu Chunfang had left over, but Qin Chuan did not care that Mu Chunfang had eaten it. If it was an ordinary person, they would probably despise it. How could a fool know so much? Chapter 765. Mu Chunfang coaxed Qin Chuan as if she was coaxing a child, afraid that Qin Chuan would make a fuss. She knew very well. If Qin Chuan were to make a fuss, the consequences would be unimaginable. I'm not eating this, it's not good, I'm not eating. As Qin Chuan spoke, he slammed the table and prepared to make a fuss. Zhao Ping glanced at Qin Chuan and frowned in disgust. This big fool. I hate him just by looking at him. When she thought about how she would have to face such a fool every day after marrying him, Zhao Ping felt a little worried. Chuan, if this doesn't taste good, what do you want to eat? Mu Chunfang asked gently. She could only coax Qin Chuan softly. She couldn't be fierce to him. Although he was a fool, he had a bad temper. Moreover, he knew that others were fierce to him. Qin Chuan didn't know what a bun was. He only pointed at Mu Chunfang's sleeve and shouted at Mu Chunfang, "Eat this." "Mother, I want to eat this." Mu Chunfang immediately understood what Qin Chuan was referring to. Qin Chuan must have seen her putting the bun into her sleeve and was pointing at her sleeve to ask for the bun to eat. This child, if Zhao Yun's family found out, they would be embarrassed. After all, they didn't want to eat and take things. They still wanted to save face. Mu Chunfang hurriedly stopped Qin Chuan's hand and began to coax him. Okay. Eat this. Mother will give Chuan this to eat. Eat, Mu Chunfang coaxed him. Qin Chuan obediently sat on the stool and didn't continue to make a fuss. Zhao Yun was attracted by the commotion over at Qin Chuan's side and looked at this fool. He was so old, yet he was so silly. Family Qin was quite tiring. However, this had nothing to do with their family. In the future, Zhao Ping would be the one to suffer when Zhao Ping marries over, not her. Mu Chunfang looked at Zhao Ping and said to Zhao Ping, "Little girl Ping, look at your big brother. He's making a big fuss and wants to eat meat buns. Can you bring some over?" Zhao Ping glanced at Qin Chuan. Although she was unhappy, she couldn't refuse her future mother-in-law. Thus, she nodded in agreement. He turned around, walked into the stall, and took 5 meat buns. Zhao Yun'er felt uncomfortable when she saw this. Thinking about it, this family Qin was really interesting. It was early in the morning, and they had eaten almost 20 meat buns in their house. There were also other delicious food. How could they eat all this? Even if he couldn't eat it, he would still try his best to stuff it into his stomach. He really didn't take other people's things seriously. They were so shameless that Zhao Yun'er felt that this family was a little weird. Liang Jinxiao didn't care too much. For his family Qin, it didn't matter if he ate a little more. He knew that his family Qin was poor. "I'm not eating." Qin Chuan shook his head again when Zhao Ping handed him a meat bun. Mu Chunfang was a little puzzled and asked, "Why? Chuan, you don't want to eat this? She's an ugly monster." "I won't eat her." Chuan, won't eat it." As he spoke, Qin Chuan glanced at Zhao Ping, and quickly looked away as if he had seen a monster. The ugly monster Qin Chuan was referring to was Zhao Ping. When Zhao Ping heard this, she was furious. If it was an ordinary person, it would be fine, but she was actually called an ugly monster by a fool. How could she tolerate this? Chapter 766. Zhao Ping originally thought that since Mu Chunfang had said so, she would let it go. However, Qin Chuan's next words almost angered her to death. Although Qin Chuan was stupid, it wasn't like he couldn't understand a single word. Hearing Mu Chunfang's words, Qin Chuan pouted and said to Mu Chunfang, "Mother, I'm not talking nonsense. She's an ugly freak. She's the ugliest person I've ever seen. Mother, who is she? Why are you talking to her? Why are you talking to an ugly freak?" Zhao Ping felt a mouthful of blood accumulating in her chest. She was so angry that she almost spat it out. "You." Zhao Ping gritted her teeth and glared fiercely at Qin Chuan. "If this guy dares to speak nonsense again, I'll tear his mouth apart." After being glared at by Zhao Ping, Qin Chuan was so scared that he shrank his neck and hid behind Mu Chunfang. He said to Mu Chunfang, "Mother, not only is she ugly, but she's also fierce." "Mother, Chuan is scared." Zhao Yun watched the commotion from the side and couldn't help but laugh. "What af** king weirdo." Looking at Zhao Ping's darkened face, she knew how traumatized Zhao Ping was. "That, Chuan, don't say any more. She's your sister-in-law in the future." Mu Chunfang lectured Qin Chuan with a stern face. Qin Chuan didn't understand what his sister-in-law meant, so he asked, Mother, what's a sister-in-law? It's your brother, Qin Yuan's future wife, Mu Chunfang explained. Qin Chuan finally understood. He immediately frowned and said to Mu Chunfang, Mother, don't have a sister-in-law like this. She's too ugly, an ugly freak. Mother, don't harm me. As Qin Chuan spoke, he tugged at Qin Yuan, who was eating, and lectured him, Brother, don't have such a wife. She's too ugly. She'll scare people to death. After Qin Chuan finished speaking, Zhao Yun, almost burst out laughing. This Qin Chuan was quite interesting. If she hadn't known that Qin Yuan was a fool, Zhao Yun would have thought that Qin Yuan had said those words on purpose. Zhao Yun still controlled herself and did not laugh out loud. She continued to watch the show. Qin Yuan's expression didn't look good either. He already disliked Zhao Ping very much. Now that Qin Chuan said this, he disliked her even more. After all, even a fool would know that Zhao Ping was too ugly, let alone a normal person. If he really married Zhao Ping, people would laugh at him. Qin Yuan's face darkened and he didn't say anything. Mu Chunfang hurriedly reprimanded him. Chuan, what nonsense are you talking about? This is your future sister-in-law. How can you reject her just because you say so? If you say such things again, Mother will be angry. Qin Chuan glanced at Mu Chunfang. When he saw Mu Chunfang's serious expression, he was afraid that he would really be angry. Hence, he said, oh, and didn't continue to harp on this matter. Mu Chunfang was afraid that Zhao Ping would be angry, so he hurriedly apologized to Zhao Ping. Little Ping, please don't be calculative with Chuan. He's a fool and sometimes likes to say such infuriating things. Actually, you're not that ugly. Besides, what's the point of a woman being so good-looking? Don't you think so? What's important is being diligent and filial, and carrying on the family line. In any case, I'm very satisfied with you, Ping. As Mu Chunfang spoke, he poked Qin Yuan and asked Qin Yuan to speak up for him. Qin Yuan reluctantly said to Zhao Ping, my mother is right. My brother is just talking nonsense. Don't mind him. Chapter 767. If she really kicked up a fuss, people would probably say that she wasn't generous enough for arguing with a fool. In addition, she was afraid that Qin Yuan would have a problem with her and hate her. This fool. She would slowly settle the score with him in the future. Anyway, she couldn't let him off easily. Zhao Ping gritted her teeth and said to Qin Yuan and Mu Chunfang, Aunt, Brother Yuan, how can I possibly argue with him? He's Brother Yuan's elder brother, so he's my elder brother too. Don't you think so, Brother Yuan? As Zhao Yun spoke, she looked towards Qin Yuan, as if she wanted to receive Qin Yuan's praise. Qin Yuan frowned and didn't want to respond. Mu Chunfang hurriedly said, Ping is right. Ping is really generous and sensible. It's our family Qin's honor to be able to marry such a good daughter-in-law. After being kicked a few times by Mu Chunfang, Qin Yuan also nodded and responded. With a few words of praise, Zhao Ping's anger dissipated. It was as if she had forgotten that her anger just now was so easy to appease. All right, Chuan, Your sister-in-law especially brought you a meat bun. Hurry up and eat it. Mu Chunfang urged Qin Chuan again. This was good stuff. It would be a waste if he didn't eat it. However, Qin Chuan shook his head. This time, he directly tugged at Mu Chunhua's sleeve. I want to eat what mother hid in her sleeve. With Qin Chuan's tug, the buns in Mu Chunfang's sleeve all fell out. Looking at the buns on the ground, Mu Chunfang was stunned. Then, he cried out in his heart, It's over, it's over. How embarrassing would it be if someone saw this? He still didn't know what Zhao Yun's family would think of them. This scene was indeed seen by Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun frowned. This Mu Chunfang was really interesting. Even after eating it, he still secretly hid the buns. Was he planning to bring them back to eat? Even if he was greedy, he shouldn't be this greedy. Zhao Yun's brows wrinkled, and her face was a little unhappy. Mu Chunfang raised his head and glanced at Zhao Yun guiltily. He did not know how to explain himself. You child, seriously. You don't want to eat the buns, but you insist on taking them from my sleeves, Mu Chunfang scolded Qin Chuan softly. Putting aside whether Zhao Yun and the rest would say anything, if the buns were taken out from his sleeves and Zhao Yun saw it, it would be difficult for him to put them back. Sob, sob, sob. Mother, you're yelling at me, Qin Chuan rubbed his eyes aggrievedly, looking like he was about to cry. Sigh, Mu Chunfang heaved a heavy sigh. What kind of sin had she committed to raise such a foolish son who only knew how to cheat her? Zhao Yun's lips curled up with a hint of coldness. She walked towards Mu Chunfang and said to Mu Chunfang, Auntie, why did you put my buns in your sleeves? If you want to bring them back, you should at least wrap them in butter paper. Otherwise, how can they be eaten? Mu Chunfang's ears turned red. When he met Zhao Yun's unfathomable eyes, he sucked in a breath and stuttered, not knowing what to say. Yunner lass, sigh, it's all Chuaner's fault. If he wants to eat them, so be it. Why did he have to put them in my sleeves, saying that he wanted to keep them for himself? I've already scolded him. This child, sigh, his intelligence isn't very good. He's always doing stupid things. Mu Chunfang thought for a moment and explained. Zhao Yun was not stupid. Naturally, she did not believe Mu Chunfang's explanation. Chapter 768. Mu Chunfang's face turned even redder after hearing Zhao Yun's words. He tugged at the corner of his mouth and laughed awkwardly. Yun, lass, look at what you're saying. I've eaten enough. How could I secretly keep some? Auntie, I'm just saying. There's completely no need for that. If Auntie wants to eat, just tell me directly. I'll wrap some in butter paper for you to bring back. Mu Chunfang had eaten so much. How could he have the cheek to continue asking for more? Yun, lass, you're too polite. It's fine as long as I've eaten enough. I'm already full now. Mu Chunfang rubbed his stomach and said. Zhao Yun snorted coldly in her heart. How could he not eat until he was full? He ate so much of her stall's food in one go. She wasn't a petty person, but she didn't like others to treat others like fools and take advantage of them. In-law, we're also done eating. We'll take our leave first. Mu Chunfang still felt guilty and hurriedly pulled his family along as he said this. If they left early, it would save Zhao Yun from catching her and continuing to interrogate her. That would be embarrassing. Then I won't entertain Auntie. Take care, Auntie, Zhao Yun said. Seeing this family leave, she finally heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, she didn't have to interact too much. When Zhao Ping married over, the two families basically wouldn't interact too much. Thinking this way, Zhao Yun felt much better in her heart. Big brother Yuan. Zhao Ping watched Qin Yuan leave with a look of reluctance. Ping don't just stand there. Qin Yuan has already left. What are you still looking at? Hurry up and entertain the customers. Liang Jinxiao instructed. Got it, Mom. Zhao Yun also turned around and started to get busy. At the same time, she whispered a few words into Liang Jinxiao's ear, telling her to be careful when she turned around. If the family Qin people came over the next time, Mu Chunfang would secretly steal something. What happened today made Zhao Ping a little unhappy. After all, he still wanted to stay here a little longer. Zhao Yun's attitude towards Mu Chunfang was not good. Looking at Mu Chunfang's reaction, she felt a little embarrassed. If Mu Chunfang was unhappy, he would definitely put the blame on her and be dissatisfied with her in the future. Thinking of this, Zhao Ping was even angrier. After cleaning up the mess, Zhao Ping complained to Zhao Yun, what are you doing today? Wasn't it just saying that big brother Yuan's mother stole the buns? Don't you know how embarrassing it is to talk about her like that? Seriously. It's just a few buns. Is there a need to be like this? They will be my in-laws in the future. Don't be petty, okay? After Zhao Ping rattled on, Zhao Yun'er smirked coldly. This Zhao Ping's brain was definitely filled with sh*t. She was not even married yet, and she was already so attentive to help her wife's group. She even did not hesitate to quarrel with her own family. How *king interesting. Zhao Yun'er mocked and ridiculed. Sister Ping, you also know that she stole? Hey, it's fine if she came here to eat and drink, but she even secretly prepared to bring it back. You actually spoke up for them. Where is your face? You. How is it stealing? You speak so harshly. Can't you bring some back yourself? Zhao Ping replied angrily. Chapter 769. Zhao Ping immediately frowned when she heard that she was going to collect money. She turned to Zhao Yun'er and asked, Zhao Yun'er, what do you mean by that? Zhao Yun'er sneered and said, it's exactly what you think it means. I didn't say that I wouldn't collect money from the start. They aren't family Qin family yet. Even if they are, it's not like they don't have to pay for the food at my stall. So, Sister Ping, you have to pay for the food your future in-laws ate at our stall today. I'll just deduct it from your salary later. Today, they ate a total of 134 copper coins. Let's make it 130 copper coins. I'll give you a discount. Zhao Ping was stunned when she heard that. What? She had to pay the bill? With so much money, if they ate a few times, wouldn't her 1 month of hard work be in vain? Zhao Ping was unconvinced and shouted arrogantly, Zhao Yun'er, why? My future in-laws came over to eat. What kind of logic is that? That's the logic. Do you want your in-laws? Then according to what you said, our grandfather, grandmother, uncles, aunts, and cousins don't have to pay when they come to my stall to buy food? Then wouldn't they all come over every day? At that time, my stall probably wouldn't be able to continue, right? When Zhao Yun'er said that, Zhao Ping opened her mouth and didn't know what to say for a moment. But she was unwilling to accept it. This is different. How is it different? Logically speaking, our grandfather and grandmother are closer to our family, right? We've already settled accounts with them, let alone your in-laws. Zhao Ping stomped her feet angrily. Anyway, I'm not paying. I won't pay for it. All right then, if you don't pay, you can ask your in-laws to pay. The next time I see them, I'll directly ask for it. That's not impossible. When Zhao Ping heard this, she immediately panicked. If Zhao Yun'er really asked the family Qin for it, it would be over. The family Qin might be very angry and have opinions about their family. Then, they would be dissatisfied with her. Then, Qin Yuan would break the engagement. Thinking of this, Zhao Ping felt that she couldn't bear the consequences of this matter. Mother, Zhao Ping looked at Liang Jinxiao, hoping that Liang Jinxiao would speak up for her. Liang Jinxiao sighed. She didn't know what to say. She didn't dare to say anything to Zhao Yun'er. It was normal for Zhao Yun'er to be angry about this matter. How could there be anyone who ate and then secretly took the food to bring it back? Isn't this the same as stealing? It was one thing to steal from someone else, but the main thing was that the relationship between the two families was already so bad. To still steal, as the saying goes, rabbits don't eat the grass near their burrows. The family Qin's actions were clearly too much. Liang Jinxiao thought for a moment and stood on Zhao Yun'er's side. She said to Zhao Ping, Yun'er's words aren't unreasonable. After all, the two families are different. Sometimes, it's better to be clear about things. Zhao Ping was so angry that she burst into tears. Mother, you're too much. All right, Ping, don't be so protective of him. Otherwise, you'll be at a disadvantage after marrying him. Sometimes, it's good to be calculative. Liang Jinxiao persuaded her and sighed slightly. Mother, ignore her. She's a traitor. Why do you feel so sorry for her? Zhao Yun said lightly. Liang Jinxiao wasn't a fool. How could she not see that Zhao Ping was so protective of her future in-laws today? Chapter 770. She reckoned that when she got married in the future, she would dislike her family even more. Putting aside the fact that she had raised such a daughter and gave her away for nothing, she even felt even more stifled. Zhao Yuner, how dare you sow discord in front of mother? See if I don't teach you a lesson. Zhao Pinger was furious. She didn't think too much and directly rushed towards Zhao Yuner. She was prepared to tear Zhao Yuner's mouth apart first. Unfortunately, before Zhao Pinger could rush over, she was thrown out again. This time, the person who taught Zhao Pinger a lesson was still Yili. Even if she was Zhao Yuner's biological sister, as long as she laid a hand on Zhao Yuner, he wouldn't go easy on her. Zhao Pinger screamed and fell to the ground, unable to move. She screamed, "Io, Io." She looked very miserable. Mother, it hurts, wah wah wah. Zhao Pinger felt wronged. For a moment, she burst into tears and opened her mouth wide. She was already ugly, but now she felt even uglier. Pinger, Liang Jinxiao hurried over and helped Zhao Pinger up. Actually, if Yili didn't do anything, Zhao Yuner was prepared to teach Zhao Pinger a lesson herself. If it was just 1 or 2 times, she could let her off. But every time, she challenged her patience. It seemed like she had to teach this B*TCH a lesson. Yili looked down at Zhao Pinger from above. If I see you touch a single hair on Yuner's head again, I'll chop off your hands. Yili wasn't like Zhao Yuner. When Yili kicked Zhao Pinger so hard that it almost broke her bones. Although Zhao Pinger was angry, she immediately sobered up after being taught a lesson by Yili. Trying to hit a rock with an egg, wasn't that just courting death? Zhao Ping, that little bitch, is really good. She'll be in for it later. She would remember this enmity for the time being. When she returned, she would tell Lord Shitzi that Zhao Yun had hooked up with another man outside. In the future, Lord Shitzi would teach her a lesson. It would be best if Shitzi hated Zhao Yun. In the future, Zhao Yun would lose Shitzi's support. Let's see if she could still be arrogant. Zhao Yuner gave Yili a deep look. Why was this man so arrogant? Although she didn't like men hitting women, when Yili hit Zhao Pinger just now, she was stunned by how cool he looked. Sure enough, it wasn't that men couldn't hit women, but that it depended on who they were hitting. That kind of bitch should be taught a lesson. Liang Jinxiao helped Zhao Pinger into the car and whispered into Zhao Pinger's ear, "Pinger, it's not that I want to nag you, but why are you getting ready to hit her? Let's talk things out." Yuner's words aren't without reason. Zhao Pinger dug her ears and said impatiently, "Mom, seriously. Why do you have to speak up for Zhao Yuner? Am I not your daughter? I don't want to continue talking to you. Go ahead and be biased." Liang Jinxiao shook his head helplessly. This child. She couldn't get through to her even if he tried to talk nicely. In the remaining time, they went to the stall to buy some things back. There were some pig offal, some pork, and some side dishes in the garden at home. They just had to pluck some when the time came. Zhao Yuner asked Daodu and Zhao Tianfu to catch some lobsters. For lunch, they would have pig offal, braised pork, lobster, and a few side dishes. It would definitely be a sumptuous meal. In addition, Zhao Yuner bought some wine. The men were together at noon, so they definitely had to drink and chat. Chapter 771. After all, these people looked down on others. This time, at least they knew that the third branch wasn't so poor and didn't look at them eagerly like before. After shopping, the few of them went back from the town. When they arrived at the entrance of the village, they saw Zhao Tianan busy by the river, using straw to tie a few fish in his hands. When Zhao Yun saw him, she said to Zhao Tianan, "Tianan, did you know that eldest uncle and second uncle were coming here today to catch fish and add dishes? This fish is really big." It'll be delicious when we make fish head tofu later. With fish, there would be one more dish, and they could entertain more people at noon. However, Zhao Tianan lowered his head and said with some hesitation. Second sister, this fish. I'm giving it to Xiaofeng. When Zhao Ping, heard Zhao Yun, say that she wanted to eat fish head tofu in the car, she began to drool. If it was in the past, she probably wouldn't care for it. However, once Zhao Yun made fish head tofu, she fell in love with it. Fish head tofu was much more delicious than ordinary tofu. Because it was cooked together with the head of the house, it tasted very fresh and delicious. Thus, Zhao Ping said, Tianan, didn't you send the fish over yesterday? Leave today's fish and let's eat it at home. I want to eat fish head tofu. Eldest sister. Xiaofeng said she likes it, so I promised to send her another one today. Zhao Tianan lowered his head and replied timidly. Then take this fish back first, and catch another one for Xiaofeng later. Eldest sister, it's time to cook, and Xiaofeng is already cooking at home. If I catch another one, I don't know if I can catch it, and how long it will take. It turned out that Zhao Tianan was refusing and wholeheartedly wanted to give the fish in his hands to Ma Xiaofeng. A trace of loss flashed across Zhao Yun's eyes, or rather, disappointment. This younger brother of his, the degree of siding with outsiders was not inferior to Zhao Pinger. It was just Ma Xiaofeng, but he was so infatuated with her that he even cared about his own family. It was just a fish. Zhao Yun'er really didn't care much about it. Thus, he turned to Zhao Tianan and said, Tianan, why don't you give this to Ma Xiaofeng? You're so nice to her, so she should ask you to stay for a meal. You can eat at her house later. Zhao Yun'er's words were neither cold nor light, and he couldn't hear her emotions. But Zhao Yun'er's words made Zhao Tianan blush. Second sister. All right, Tianan. It's not that second sister doesn't want you to send her, but you're so nice to her. It's not too much for her to ask you to stay for lunch, right? Otherwise, wouldn't you be giving away so many fish for free? Zhao Tianan lowered his head. He didn't know what to say. Was his second sister angry again? Sigh, it seemed like his second sister meant that she didn't want him to eat lunch at home. Zhao Yun'er didn't continue speaking. Instead, she patted Xiao Mao's butt and called out, Let's go, Xiao Mao. Xiao Mao obeyed Zhao Yun'er's order and ran away. It seemed to have heard the emotions in Zhao Yun'er's words. As it ran, it even kicked backward, kicking some soil on the ground onto Zhao Tianan. Zhao Tianan looked at Zhao Yun'er's back as she left, then looked at the fish in his hand. He suddenly felt that the fish in his hand was very heavy. At this moment, he was hesitating whether to give it to Ma Xiaofeng or take it back. If he gave it to Ma Xiaofeng, his second sister would be angry. If he took it back, Ma Xiaofeng would definitely be unhappy because he went back on his word. Chapter 772. After struggling for a while, Zhao Tianan finally walked in the direction of Ma Xiaofeng's house. On the way back to the third branch, Liang Jinxiao could clearly feel Zhao Yun'er's displeasure. He sighed slightly. The relationship between the two siblings was getting worse and worse because of Ma Xiaofeng. But Tianan, that child, was really obsessed. He was so obsessed with Ma Xiaofeng that he couldn't tell the direction, because Zhao Yun'er left. Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua were not in the mood to arrange Zhao Tianan's marriage, so Su Youcai's niece did not come to visit. They had to arrange for the two children to meet later. When Zhao Yun'er and the others returned to the third branch, Zhao Yun'er's eldest uncle and second uncle had just arrived. It was the first time Zhao Yun'er saw them after she transmigrated. The original owner did not have much memory of these two uncles. When Liang Jinxiao saw his two brothers, he got out of the car and hurried forward to greet them. Eldest brother, second brother, you're here. Zhao Yun'er's eldest uncle, Liang Jinshan, and second uncle, Liang Jinhui, only responded faintly in response to Liang Jinxiao's warm greeting. They did not seem to be very enthusiastic. When they caught a glimpse of Zhao Yun'er standing beside Liang Jinxiao, their faces became even uglier. Zhao Yun's pregnancy before marriage made Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui feel ashamed and humiliated. It was a disgrace to their family's reputation, so they did not like Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun did not expect her two uncles to have such an attitude. When they looked at her, their faces were full of disdain, as if they had seen something dirty. Liang Jinxiao smiled embarrassedly. He felt like his warm face was being snubbed. Big brother, second brother, don't just stand there. Hurry up and go into the house to rest and drink some water. I'm going to prepare lunch now. We'll leave after lunch. Liang Jinxiao called out again. There's no need for that. We're just here to give you some money. After all, Ping's wedding is a joyous occasion. As for lunch, forget it. Let's go back to eat. After all, there's nothing delicious in your house. Don't put wild vegetables on the table. Liang Jinshan said with some disdain, which made Liang Jinxiao slightly embarrassed. Her eldest brother and second brother had come to her house before. At that time, they hadn't separated from the family. Hu Chunhua had only cooked 2 dishes of wild vegetables and a few cornbread, which had been left over for a few days. When her 2 brothers saw this kind of treatment, they immediately turned around and left. Ever since he came over, he had never eaten anything. It was the same this time. They thought that Liang Jinxiao didn't have anything good to treat them. Big brother. Second brother, it won't happen this time. I've specially prepared a lot of dishes for you to come over. I guarantee that you'll have a good meal today. Liang Jinxiao said. Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui naturally didn't believe him. They snorted softly and said, "What good treatment does your family have for us? Alright, don't hit the fatty in the face." As he spoke, Liang Jinhui walked in front of Liang Jinxiao and stuffed a red packet into Liang Jinxiao's hand. He said to Liang Jinxiao, "Big sister, don't say that your eldest brother and I didn't come. This red packet is for you. We'll come over again when Ping holds the banquet." After saying that, he looked like he was about to leave. Liang Jinxiao suddenly panicked and hurriedly pulled Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui. "Big brother, second brother, don't go. Really, I bought something good to treat you this afternoon. Eat before you leave. How can you go back without eating?" Chapter 773. No matter what, their reputation would be tarnished. Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui saw that Liang Jinxiao did not look like she was lying, so they said to Liang Jinxiao, "Big sister, tell us what good food your family has for us for lunch." Liang Jinxiao understood that her 2 brothers meant that they would stay if there was good food, so she hurriedly took out the groceries they bought today. The first thing she took out was pig offal. A stinky smell spread. Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui hurriedly covered their noses and said angrily and disdainfully, "Big sister, is this what you meant by good food? What did I think it was? Turns out it's pig offal that people don't even eat, but you bought it and prepared to serve us. Do you really think we're beggars? No matter how poor our Liang family is, we won't fall to the point of eating pig offal." The more they said, the angrier Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui became. Using pig offal to serve people, wasn't it obvious that she was looking down on them? With such poor food conditions, she even said that she would build a house. Where would she get the money to build a house? She was probably just bluffing. After all, they had not seen Liang Jinxiao's house being built until now. Liang Jinhui said to Liang Jinshan, "Forget it, big brother. Why are we still being so long-winded here? Let's go back quickly. If we go back early, we can still make it in time for lunch." Liang Jinshan nodded. "Okay, let's go back. We'll go back now." When the 2 of them walked out of old Zhao's courtyard, Liang Jinxiao hurriedly called out to Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui. "Big brother, second brother, this pig offal is delicious. It's not what we usually think it is." Liang Jinhui snorted softly. "Enough, big sister. You're the only one who treats this stinky thing as a treasure. It's fine if you eat it, but do you want us to eat it? If it's not what we usually think it is, then tell us, what can it be? Liang Jinxiao sighed, big brother, second brother, although this pig's offal smells a little stinky now, but Yun can make it not stinky, and it's especially delicious. It's best to go with wine. Zhao Wenhua also chimed in, that's right, Yun-er's big uncle, Yun-er's mother is right. Although this pig offal smells a little, Yun can make it, I didn't believe it until I ate it. After Liang Jinshan and Zhao, Liang Jinshan, and Liang Jinshan were and Liang, eldest sister, brother-in-law, who would believe your words? If your family's Yun, a girl really has such a good ability, would she still be able to do such a shameful thing? Liang Jinhui ridiculed. How? Moreover, her two uncles' attitudes really made her speechless. Their arrogant and condescending attitude meant that they didn't care about the third branch at all. Liang Jinxiao quickly glanced at Zhao Yun, afraid that Zhao Yun would get angry. Seeing that Zhao Yun's gaze had indeed turned cold, he couldn't help but worry that Zhao Yun would get angry. Zhao Yun smiled. Since that's the case, mother, let's let big uncle and second uncle go back. We'll eat by ourselves. Other than pig offal, there's also pork, eggs, and something else for lunch. When they heard Zhao Yun say that there was pork, Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui paused in their steps. Chapter 774. Zhao Yun had originally intended to anger her two uncles. Before they left, she wanted to let them know that their family was different from before and that their food was not shabby. Liang Jinxiao hurriedly replied, yes, there's still a lot of food left. As he spoke, Liang Jinxiao took out a plate of pork and a jar of wine from the basket. Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui finally believed him. It would be a waste not to eat meat and wine, so they cleared their throats and said to Liang Jinxiao, all right then, eldest sister. Let's stay for a meal today. Liang Jinxiao agreed with a smile, but Zhao Yun was not very happy. The corners of her mouth twitched uncontrollably. These two uncles were also snobbish. Eldest brother, second brother, go to the house and rest first. Have a glass of water. Later, Yun and I will go and cook. When the food is ready, we'll eat together. Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui responded faintly, and the two men walked into the house. Liang Jinxiao tugged at Zhao Yun and said to Zhao Yun, all right, Yun don't take your eldest uncle and second uncle's words to heart. Let's go and cook. Okay. Zhao Yun could not be bothered to argue with them. First, she would let them see how good their family was. Later, when her eldest uncle and second uncle came to curry favor with them, she would ignore them and let them experience this feeling. Zhao Yun finally understood that the poorer the era, the more powerful people were. In that case, it was better to show off. It was better to make people jealous than to be looked down upon. The two of them began to get busy in the kitchen. Daodu and Zhao Tianfu had brought back the lobsters. The two children very sensibly began to wash the lobsters. As for Zhao Ping, she curiously went forward to take a look and asked Zhao Yun, can this lobster be eaten? Zhao Yun, could not be bothered with Zhao Ping, and pretended not to hear her. Zhao Ping, glared at Zhao Yun, angrily. Zhao Yun, I'm talking to you. Didn't you hear me? Ha, Zhao Yun, snorted softly. If it can't be eaten, why would I cook it? That means it can be eaten. It must be delicious. Zhao Pinger's eyes lit up as if she had discovered something important. So. She hurriedly went over to see how Zhao Tianfu and Daoda washed the lobsters. She had to memorize and learn it. Tianfu, how do you wash it? Zhao Ping, asked. Zhao Tianfu demonstrated to Zhao Ping, Zhao Ping was also eager to try. Me too, me too. As she spoke, she reached into the bucket to grab the lobsters. However, the lobsters clamped onto Zhao Ping's fingers. Zhao Ping screamed in pain. It hurts, Zhao Ping hurriedly shook her hands. Unfortunately, the lobsters were clamped tightly onto her fingers. Zhao Ping could not shake them off at all. She continued to scream at the top of her lungs. The other members of old Zhao's family ran out. They thought that something had happened. They saw that Zhao Ping had only been clamped by the lobsters. It was as if something big had happened. Little Ping, can you not shout so loudly when you have nothing to do? You're scaring the souls out of people. That's right, so noisy. Ping, girl, you're making a fuss over such a small thing. You're already an adult. Don't you feel ashamed? Chapter 775. With that, Feng Zhangxia hugged Zhao Yangyang and began to coax him. Third brother's wife, you'd better take care of Ping, later. Don't make a fuss. Hua Chunhua put the blame on Liang Jinxiao. Zhao Ping was already in pain from being pinched. Now that old Zhao's family said such things, she couldn't help but feel a little angry. Seriously, were these people even human? They didn't have any conscience at all. She was so angry. Zhao Yun glanced at Zhao Ping and scolded her for being an idiot in her heart. She could become like this after being pinched by a lobster. What a weirdo. Zhao Ping said angrily to Zhao Yun, Zhao Yun, it's all your fault. It's all because of you that I was bitten. Zhao Yun glanced at Zhao Ping coldly. The two children weren't bitten, but you were. Should I say that you're stupid or stupid? You, alright, Ping, stop fooling around. Isn't it just a pinch? How painful can it be? Liang Jinxiao nagged. Zhao Ping pursed her lips. Since she was going to taste the lobster later, she didn't bicker with Zhao Yun for the time being. Instead, she continued to run in front of Zhao Tianfu and doubted to see how the two children cooked. She still had to learn how to cook. Zhao Ping thought that since Zhao Yun could make a pig offal so delicious, Zhao Yun could probably make a lobster as well. Neither of them were good food. If the taste could be made unique, she would use it in the stall she opened with Ma Xiaofeng in the future. It could be considered a special dish. When Zhao Yun'er was cooking, she asked Liang Jinxiao to check how much money his two uncles had sent as gifts. Liang Jinxiao took out the red packet and counted it. There were only 20 copper coins in total. Looking at the 20 copper coins in his hand, Liang Jinxiao felt a little embarrassed to talk to Zhao Yun'er. Yun'er, your first uncle and second uncle sent a total of 20 when this time. Liang Jinxiao sighed slightly as he spoke. In the countryside, the gift money was usually 20 copper coins, starting from 30 copper coins. Therefore, 20 copper coins was considered very little. If it had been someone else, it would have been fine. It would have been a token of their sincerity to join in the fun. However, her eldest and second uncles were very close to her. Taking out 20 copper coins for such a close relationship was a little too shabby. Zhao Yun'er's face darkened. Interesting. Her first and second uncles came all the way here and only sent 20 copper coins. She didn't know how these two people had the nerve to do this. Mother, if we knew this would happen, we wouldn't have let them eat well. 20 copper coins isn't even enough to buy a few cups of wine at our house. The more Zhao Yun'er thought about it, the angrier she felt. What kind of people were these? Her aunt was a weirdo. It was fine if she didn't treat them well. After all, they weren't related by blood. However, her uncle, her mother's biological brother, was actually like this. Zhao Yun'er finally understood that there was no need to look down on others to such an extent. Now that they sent the 20 copper coins, it was probably because they were afraid of being criticized by others. It was really unpleasant to hear that they didn't even send a gift money for their niece's wedding. Liang Jinxiao sighed again and comforted Zhao Yun'er, Yun'er, forget it. We don't care about a few more copper coins. Chapter 776. Zhao Ping, and her cousin were both Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui's nieces. The reason why there was such a big difference was because Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui had different views of the two families. It was obvious that Liang Jinhui and Liang Jinshan were stepping on Zhao Yun's family and flattering Liang Jinfan's family. Liang Jinxiao sighed again. What can we do? Since they look down on us so much, just don't fawn over us in the future. Zhao Yun snorted softly. Sigh, Liang Jinxiao didn't know what to say. How could she blame her two elder brothers? After all, they were her biological brothers. Thinking about it, the relationship between siblings could easily be changed by money. This was how society worked. Zhao Yun couldn't be bothered to continue this topic. Anyway, she had no feelings for her eldest uncle and second uncle's family. They could do whatever they wanted as long as they didn't interact with each other in the future. After a while, when Zhao Yun was almost done with the dishes, the last dish was stir-fried crayfish. Zhao Ping's eyes widened as she watched from the side. She didn't know that crayfish could be stir-fried like this. It was really too fragrant. She hadn't tasted it yet, but she already felt that it was delicious just by smelling it. This was great. She would have a signature dish at her stall in the future. She felt a little excited just thinking about it. Zhao Ping felt that she had to hurry up and learn more cooking skills from Zhao Yun. Then, she wouldn't have to worry about her business not being good in the future. The aroma of the dishes in the kitchen had already drifted into the room of the third house, and everyone was drooling. Even Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui couldn't remain calm. Wasn't this dish a little too fragrant? Even the restaurants in the town had never smelled such a fragrant aroma. Zhao Wenhua chuckled and said, Yun's culinary skills are good. Eldest uncle and second uncle, you're in for a treat later. It's so delicious. Only then did Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui's attitudes become slightly better. They responded faintly, that girl is finally of some use. Otherwise, she would be a useless person at home. How shameful. Zhao Wenhua's expression was a little stiff. He couldn't help but explain to Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui. Yun'er's first uncle, second uncle, Yun'er is different from before. Yun'er has the ability to earn her own money. The house that our family is about to build will be built with the money that Yun'er earned. Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui couldn't help but feel puzzled. They were curious about what Zhao Wenhua had said. After asking a few more questions, Zhao Wenhua began to explain. The two of them finally understood the current situation of the third branch. Their big sister's family was really different from before. If it was in the past, he might not have believed it. Now that he thought about it, if they could even afford to buy meat and eat such good food, how bad could their family background be? He couldn't help but sigh. His attitude towards Zhao Wenhua suddenly became much better. In the kitchen, Zhao Yun'er scooped the fried lobsters onto a plate and called the family to prepare to eat. There were a few dishes for lunch. There was braised pork, pig intestines, crayfish, tofu and cabbage soup, chili scrambled eggs, stir-fried water celery, and steamed fresh meat slices. This would be a feast in any farmer's house. Zhao Yun'er said to Zhao Tianfu and Daodu, go call your father over for lunch. Although Mu Lianfeng's body was a little weak after being poisoned, it wasn't that he couldn't move. After resting for a day, he could get up and walk around now. Yes. Daodu nodded heavily and prepared to go over. Chapter 777. I'll go. I'll call Master Shitzi over. Zhao Ping said eagerly. Zhao Yun frowned. She didn't know what Zhao Ping was thinking. No need. Daodu can go. Zhao Yun said faintly, rejecting Zhao Ping. Daodu is just a child. He runs so slowly. How can he run as fast as me? I don't know how long it'll take to call Master Shitzi over. I'm in a hurry to eat. The sooner we call Master Shitzi over, the sooner we can eat. Zhao Yun's mouth twitched. Zhao Ping, this woman, only thought about eating. She wasn't afraid that she would become fat from eating. In her previous life, her family's conditions weren't good. The food they ate usually didn't have much oil, and they often didn't have enough to eat. Therefore, no matter how gluttonous Zhao Ping was, she wouldn't become fat. Instead, she would become very thin. Recently, the family's food had improved. Zhao Ping could eat a lot for every meal. Therefore, she slowly became fat. She estimated that she was around 20 kgs heavier than before. Currently, she couldn't see what was wrong with Zhao Ping's figure. However, if Zhao Ping continued to eat like this, there would be a day when Zhao Ping would become a fat pig. Liang Jinxiao said to Zhao Yun, let Ping go. The sooner you call Master Shitzi over, the sooner we can bring the food into the room and invite your eldest uncle and second uncle to eat. Zhao Yun finally relaxed and nodded in agreement. At this time, Li Chuiying walked into old Zhao's courtyard after he finished untying his hands from the latrine pit. She was attracted by the aroma coming from the third branch's kitchen. She walked over and said to Liang Jinxiao, third sister-in-law, your family's lunch is really good. These dishes smell so good. Liang Jinxiao responded and explained, it's Yun'er's eldest and second uncles who are here to send some money. Ping is about to get married, Li Chuiying nodded. I see. Ping is getting married, so we should give her some money. Your first uncle and second uncle have sent so many gifts. Do you have so many good dishes to entertain them? Liang Jinxiao was a little embarrassed to say it out loud. If he didn't say it out loud, he was afraid that people would laugh at him. What's wrong, third sister-in-law, why aren't you saying anything? Did they send a lot over? Liang Jinxiao pursed his lips. Not much is not much. Just tell us. Later on, our family will have to give Ping some money as a reference. This. Liang Jinxiao blushed slightly and stuttered, not knowing what to say. She wasn't used to lying, so she couldn't lie in front of Li Chuiying at this time. Third sister-in-law, look at you. It's not a big deal. Why can't you say it out loud? Second sister-in-law, it's really not much. When the time comes, just let mother decide what to send, okay then. Mother will decide on Pinger's gift money. But third sister-in-law. What's wrong? Yun'er's first uncle and second uncle sent the money. Since your family is so hospitable, when mother sends the money later, shouldn't you also prepare some good dishes for our old Zhao family to eat together? Liang Jinxiao was stunned. He didn't expect Li Chuiying to have such an idea. Li Chuiying wasn't wrong. Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui had come over and entertained them so grandly. There was no reason not to entertain old Zhao's family, however, it wasn't easy to entertain them. He had to trouble Zhao Yun'er again. Chapter 778. Li Chuiying's face darkened. Yun'er, what do you mean by this? You treat your eldest uncle and second uncle as human beings, but the old Zhao family doesn't? Zhao Yun'er spat. Second aunt, don't talk to me about this. My eldest uncle and second uncle came all the way here and are considered guests. That's why we entertain them. We only live in the same courtyard. Do we still need to entertain them? Zhao Yun'er, you. Li Chuiying glared at Zhao Yun'er angrily. This girl's glib tongue was better than anyone else's. She couldn't even out-talk her. Zhao Yun'er smirked. Second aunt, if you're a glutton, just say so. Don't beat around the bush. Li Chuiying blushed after being exposed by Zhao Yun'er. Well done, Yun'er, you've grown up. Who are you closer to when you're siding with an outsider? You're sucking up to your mother's relatives. With that, Li Chuiying stormed off in a huff. Zhao Yun'er thought it was hilarious. Actually, Zhao Yun'er didn't like her father's relatives or her mother's relatives. After all, they weren't good people. She didn't know why all the relatives she met were freaking weirdos. There weren't many good people among them. Was it because of her relatives, or were there too many bad people in this era? On the other end, Zhao Ping'er eagerly ran towards Zhao Yun'er's house. When she arrived at Zhao Yun'er's house, Mu Lianfeng was lying on the bed. Mu Lianfeng's eyes were closed. He seemed to be asleep. Zhao Ping'er leaned over and glanced at Mu Lianfeng. She couldn't help but sigh. This heir presumptive was indeed good-looking. It was much more beautiful than Qin Yuan. She didn't know where Zhao Yun got her luck from to be able to catch the eye of the crown prince. Then he thought about her. A surge of jealousy rose in his heart. When Zhao Ping leaned over to pat Mu Lianfeng's eyes suddenly opened. When he saw Zhao Ping's face, he frowned slightly for a moment. Then, he lifted his leg and sent Zhao Ping flying. Ouch! Zhao Ping screamed again. She had been taught a lesson by Yi Li in the morning and had not yet recovered from her injuries. She did not expect that Mu Lianfeng would attack her again. Zhao Ping gritted her teeth and looked at Mu Lianfeng with an aggrieved expression. Mu Lianfeng's cold words drifted into Zhao Ping's ears. What are you doing here? Sob, sob, sob. Heir presumptive, I'm here to call you for dinner. I was just trying to wake you up. I didn't expect that before I could do it, I would be sent flying by your kick. Heir presumptive, you're really ruthless. Looking at Zhao Ping's aggrieved expression, Mu Lianfeng felt a little awkward. However, he didn't feel sorry for Zhao Ping. Since you're here to call me for dinner, why are you still acting so sneakily? Mu Lianfeng said this to find an excuse for his actions. He was saying that Zhao Ping deserved to be kicked by him. Sob, sob, sob. Heir presumptive, I'm not acting sneakily. I just saw that you were asleep, that's enough. Mu Lianfeng glanced coldly at Zhao Ping. Since you're here to call me for dinner, let's go. Zhao Ping was still lying on the ground and did not get up. Seeing that Mu Lianfeng was about to leave, she shouted at Mu Lianfeng, Heir presumptive, you kicked me too hard. I can't get up. Can you give me a hand? Chapter 779. There was a trace of disgust in his eyes. How could he pull her away? Other than Zhao Yun, he didn't want to touch any other woman. Even if Zhao Ping, was Zhao Yun's biological sister and was so ugly that she was no threat to Zhao Yun, he still couldn't do that. Then you should lie down first. You can get up when you have the strength. I'll go over first. Mu Lianfeng walked forward, as if he had abandoned Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping pursed her lips in grievance. She could get up on her own. What was the big deal? She didn't want to waste time lying down here. Otherwise, all the good dishes at home would be eaten up, and she wouldn't be able to eat anymore. Thus, Zhao Ping quickly got up and followed behind Mu Lianfeng. Lord Heir, speak frankly. Sigh, there's something about Yun, I don't know if I should say it. I'm afraid you'll be angry if I say it, but if I don't say it, I'll think that my sister is too much. How could she do such a thing? Mu Lianfeng paused in his steps, as if he had heard Zhao Ping's words. Zhao Ping hurriedly continued, sigh, Zhao Ping is really. Lord Heir, you're such a good person, but she doesn't know how to cherish you. Who does she think she is? Mu Lianfeng frowned slightly and said to Zhao Ping with some displeasure, if you have something to say, just say it. Don't stutter and hesitate. Zhao Ping was delighted. It seemed that Mu Lianfeng was really interested in this matter. Sigh. Lord Heir, you don't know. Zhao Yun is with you now, but she's hooking up with another man behind your back. There was a very handsome man who came to eat breakfast every day at her breakfast stall. Zhao Yun clearly knew that he liked her, but she still flirted with that man all day long. They were very intimate. I really can't take it anymore. How can she be like this? Isn't it enough that she has you? How could he hook up with the flowers and plants outside? Sigh. He was really thinking about what was in the pot while eating from the bowl. Shiziyi, although she is my younger sister, you are such a good person. I have to remind you, lest you be deceived and still don't know. It's best not to have a woman like Zhao Yuner. Zhao Ping rambled on and told Mu Lianfeng about how Yili persevered and came over every day. Mu Lianfeng's eyes darkened and his face turned terrifyingly cold. It wasn't because he believed Zhao Ping's words. He knew how Zhao Yuner treated him. His life was saved by Zhao Yuner. And he had 100% trust in Zhao Yuner. However, if Zhao Ping wasn't lying, then there should be a very handsome man who was pursuing his Yuner. Didn't that mean that he had a love rival? If it was an ordinary man, then so be it. But the man that Zhao Ping was talking about was very handsome. Even his appearance didn't lose to hers. He felt threatened by such a strong opponent. He would never allow Zhao Yuner to be snatched away by a man like this. Chapter 780. Sneak a peek. He was not a homewrecker. Why should he sneak a peek? When the time came, he would go over openly. He wanted to know which man had the guts to snatch his woman. When Zhao Ping saw Mu Lianfeng's reaction, she gritted her teeth and felt even more smug. Humph. Great. Zhao Yun, that be *tch, just wait and see. It would be great if she was abandoned by the heir of the crown prince. Mu Lianfeng could not be bothered to look at Zhao Ping, and quickened his steps. When they arrived at the third branch and Mu Lianfeng came over, Zhao Yun brought over the dishes that she had prepared for lunch and asked her eldest uncle and second uncle to eat together. Zhao Wenhua did not introduce Mu Lianfeng's identity. Otherwise, Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui would not dare to sit at the table and eat. After all, Mu Lianfeng's identity was there. Ordinary people would not dare to sit at the same table as the heir of the crown prince. When he found out about Mu Lianfeng's identity, he was also trembling with fear and did not dare to face Mu Lianfeng at all. Naturally, Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui were the same. However, although they did not mention Mu Lianfeng's identity, Mu Lianfeng's appearance and temperament made people know that his identity was not simple. Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui were full of respect for Mu Lianfeng. They originally looked down on Zhao Yun's family, but instantly became enthusiastic. After eating, they praised Zhao Yun from time to time. When Zhao Yun heard her eldest uncle and second uncle's praises, she laughed it off. Such snobbish words were good to hear. There was no need to take them seriously. Sure enough, many people were like this. They fawned over the rich and looked down on the poor. At the dining table, Zhao Yun noticed that Mu Lianfeng's expression didn't seem too good. He only focused on eating and didn't eat much. Zhao Yun couldn't help but have some doubts in her heart. What was wrong with this guy? He was fine, but he seemed to be angry. Why was he angry? Was he angry with her? Zhao Yun bit her chopsticks as she ate. If it weren't for the fact that there were other people around, she would have pulled Mu Lianfeng aside and asked him what was going on. Zhao Ping glanced at Mu Lianfeng's reaction and felt a burst of joy in her heart. If Mu Lianfeng was so angry, Zhao Yun would definitely not have a good time. Ah, isn't this a lobster? Yuner can actually make such delicious food, too amazing. Liang Jinshun praised. This time, he wasn't just trying to curry favor. He really felt that way. It wasn't that they hadn't seen crayfish before, but they couldn't think of anyone who could cook crayfish to such an extent. Zhao Yuner was the first. Liang Jinhui also praised him, that's right. Not only is the crayfish delicious, but the pig's offal is also very delicious. Zhao Yuner sneered and said to Liang Jinhui, second uncle, if I remember correctly, you said not long ago that I used pig's offal to send beggars away. You even said that no matter how poor I was, I wouldn't fall to the point of eating pig's offal. Now you've changed your mind. After Zhao Yuner finished speaking, Liang Jinhui felt a burning pain on his face. This Didn't I not eat just now? So I didn't know how it tasted. Now that I've eaten it, it feels pretty good. Haha, Zhao Yun'er laughed. There was a hint of mockery in her laughter. Liang Jinhui's words were a slap to his own face. He looked at the pig's offal on the table and wanted to eat it, but was too embarrassed to move his chopsticks. Chapter 781. Why did she feel like apart from Mu Lianfeng's anger, there was also a strong smell of vinegar in the air? Zhao Yun couldn't help but take a few more glances at Mu Lianfeng. Then, she picked up a lobster and placed it in Mu Lianfeng's bowl. She then said to Mu Lianfeng, "Why aren't you eating? This lobster is delicious. You didn't eat it yesterday. Have a taste today." Mu Lianfeng glanced at the lobster, then looked at Zhao Yun. Seeing Mu Lianfeng's slightly pouty mouth, Zhao Yun couldn't help but ask, "What's wrong, Mu Lianfeng?" The way he looked at her just now was completely like that of a resentful wife. Zhao Yun's heart trembled. This guy. What was he trying to do? Daodu, who was next to Mu Lianfeng, said softly, "Daddy, Mommy is right. It's delicious. Daodu, peel it for Daddy." With that, Daodu's little hand directly pinched the shell of the lobster's tail. He peeled the meat out, dipped it in the sauce, and brought it to Mu Lianfeng's mouth. "Daddy, eat it." When Mu Lianfeng looked at Daodu, his gaze became much gentler. He opened his mouth and ate the lobster that Daodu brought over. Daodu looked at Mu Lianfeng expectantly and asked Mu Lianfeng, "Daddy, how is it? Does it taste good?" Mu Lianfeng chewed it. It was spicy, fresh, and very flavorful. "It's delicious," Mu Lianfeng replied, the corners of his mouth rising slightly. "Daddy, if it's delicious, eat more. Daodu will peel it for you," Daodu said softly. Seeing how considerate and sensible Daodu was, Mu Lianfeng and Zhao Yun were very happy. Who wouldn't like a sensible son? Daodu can eat it. Daddy can peel it himself. Father, let's let Daodu do it. You're definitely not as good as Daodu. Daodu insisted. And there's a lot of oil. Daodu's hands are already dirty. There's no need for Daodu's hands to get dirty. Mu Lianfeng nodded as he looked at Lil P's tender face that was like a porcelain doll. All right then, let Lil P peel it. His son wanted to be filial to him, so he couldn't not give him a chance. Yeah. As Daodu spoke, she picked up a lot of lobsters and put them into her bowl. Then, she started to peel them for Mu Lianfeng. It was much easier for Daodu's small hands to peel the lobster's shell than it was for someone else to do it. Not long after, the meat on the lobster's tail was peeled off again. When he peeled the third lobster, Daodu's hand accidentally slipped, and a few drops of the sauce on the lobster splashed onto Liang Jinshuan's face. Even his originally clean clothes had become somewhat dirty. Liang Jinshuan frowned, and his face was full of displeasure. When he saw Daodu, he glared fiercely at Daodu just like before and scolded, "You little bastard, did you do it on purpose?" As soon as he said that, he saw Mu Lianfeng's sharp eyes looking at him with a chill. After being glared at, Liang Jinshuan immediately stuttered. "I was just excited for a moment, so I said this kind of words. I forgot that Zhao Yun is now different from before. Wasn't he offending someone by saying that about Daodu?" Zhao Yun's face darkened. She was very displeased. "Uncle, Daodu isn't a little bastard. He has a father. Please clarify this now," Zhao Yun warned coldly. Liang Jinxiao also hurriedly said, "Big brother, Daodu has a father. It's this." Chapter 782. Liang Jinxiao understood what Zhao Wenhua meant. It was best not to reveal Mu Lianfeng's identity to her two older brothers for the time being. "It's this young master." Liang Jinxiao paused for a moment before saying. Liang Jinshuan looked at Mu Lianfeng and sighed inwardly. This was actually Daodu's father. Who would have thought that Zhao Yun was pregnant with this man's child before marriage? this meant that not only was Dao not a little bastard, but he also had an extraordinary identity. At the very least, he was the young master of a wealthy family. Liang Jinshan hurriedly said, it was a slip of the tongue. Dao is a sensible and obedient child. He's really likable. Isn't that so? Dao, this child, is so cute. I'm afraid you won't be able to find a child as good-looking as Dao within a few dozen miles of this area. Liang Jinhui also hurriedly chimed in. Although they spoke casually, their foreheads were covered in a layer of cold sweat. If they offended Mu Lianfeng, they already knew the consequences even if Mu Lianfeng didn't say anything. They would definitely not have a good life. Mu Lianfeng knew that these two people were Zhao Yun, Er's first and second uncles. For the sake of Zhao Yun, Er's relatives, he didn't want to fall out with them. He only warned them coldly, I don't want to hear this kind of words a second time. Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui hurriedly replied, yes, we definitely won't. They didn't have the guts to say anything else. Mu Lianfeng's gaze was as if he could eat them up. Zhao Yun couldn't help but want to laugh when she saw her two uncles' cowardly expressions. How interesting. After that, the atmosphere at the dining table became a little gloomy. After Mu Lianfeng lost his temper, Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui didn't dare to say a word. They just lowered their heads and ate. The happiest person at the dining table was Dao. There was a pile of lobster shells on the table in front of him. Other than peeling them for Mu Lianfeng, he also ate a lot for himself. However, because he ate a lot, Dao's little mouth was covered in grease and dirty. After Dao finished eating, Zhao Yun hurriedly took out a handkerchief and gently wiped Dao's mouth. Mother, Dao likes to eat lobster. Can you make it for Dao tomorrow? Dao looked as if he hadn't had enough. Seeing how the child still felt that it wasn't enough after eating so much, she couldn't help but admire Dao's battle prowess. How could such a small child eat so much? Zhao Yun smiled, of course you can. Tomorrow, you and your uncle will go catch more, and mother will cook for you. Yeah. Mu Lianfeng also elegantly picked up a handkerchief and wiped his mouth. Even the action of wiping his mouth was unusually elegant. This handsome appearance somewhat blinded Zhao Yun's eyes. Mu Lianfeng noticed that Zhao Yun was staring at him intently and raised his good-looking eyebrows. Zhao Yun's ears turned red and she hurriedly looked away. She was already so old, but she was almost hit on. She felt a little embarrassed. Let's go if you're full. Mu Lianfeng's pleasant voice sounded. Zhao Yun responded. Since she was full, it was time to leave. Her two uncles had her parents, so they didn't need her to serve them. Yeah, as they spoke, the two of them each took one side, holding Dao's hand and prepared to leave. Big brother, second brother, why don't you guys sit for a while? Rest for a while before leaving? Liang Jinxiao said to Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui. Yeah, then let's rest for a while. Liang Jinshan responded. Liang Jinhui poked Liang Jinshuan's arm as if he had something to say. Chapter 783. Liang Jinxiao hurriedly asked, what's the matter? Big brother? What's the matter? Liang Jinshan cleared his throat and coughed. He said awkwardly, eldest sister, the gift money I gave you just now was a little too little, so I have to make up for it. But I didn't bring that much money today. When your second brother and I go back, we'll send it over when we have time. Being treated like this by Zhao Yun's family, coupled with the fact that Zhao Yun's family's current situation was not what it used to be, 20 copper coins would have been fine. But now, he felt that if he gave her 20 copper coins, Zhao Yun's family would definitely remember it. When Liang Jinxiao heard this, he hurriedly waved his hand and said, no need. Big brother, there's no need to go through the trouble of making a trip here. You don't have to send us. Eldest sister. How can we accept this? Ping's marriage is a big deal. As her uncles, we naturally have to take note of it. Liang Jinxiao sighed and said, big brother, second brother, it's not that I'm being courteous, but there's really no need for it. If you want to send more money over, you can buy more meat for yourselves and the children at home to nourish their bodies. It's enough that you're sincere. Our family isn't that short of money now. Seeing that Liang Jinxiao had rejected them, Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui were embarrassed to say anything more. After all, they didn't give them money previously. Now that they suddenly gave them money, they felt a little embarrassed. Their eldest sister had rejected them like this again, hence, they smiled awkwardly and said, "All right then. Eldest sister, don't blame us then." Liang Jinxiao pursed his lips and said, "How can that be? Big brother, second brother, our family doesn't rely on that little bit of money to live. It would be a lie to say that he didn't have any grudges in his heart." Now that his eldest brother and second brother had given him that little bit of money, he felt that it was meaningless. If they were sincere, they would have taken out so much money when they first came over. She didn't want to be so calculative, as long as she knew it in her heart. Anyway, she had no feelings for her family now. Yes, yes, yes. Your family is doing well now. Oh right, my brother-in-law, didn't you say that your family was going to build a house? The last time you came over, you asked me and your second brother to be bricklayers. When are you going to build a house? Let's come over again. Previously, Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui had refused because Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui were afraid that if they really went back and helped their sister-in-law build a house, what would they do if they couldn't afford the wages? His relatives were too embarrassed to ask for money from them. In addition, he felt that since they were relatives, he naturally couldn't treat them unfairly. In short, he had to give them a higher price than the average bricklayer. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao looked at each other when they heard what Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui said. He didn't expect the two of them to bring up this matter at this time. Zhao Wenhua had already contacted the masons needed to build the third room, and the price was basically agreed upon. There were only so many people needed for the bricklayer. If Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui came over, it would not be good. Zhao Wenhua looked a little conflicted and didn't know how to bring it up. Liang Jinxiao was also a little troubled. Big brother. Second brother, we've already found the bricklayers in our family. We don't need so many people. Liang Jinxiao meant to refuse, but Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui were a little unwilling. Chapter 784. Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui were not willing to give up just like that. If he came over to help, he could get closer to Yang Jinxiao's family. In addition, he could earn some money. Moreover, Zhao Yun's food and craftsmanship were much better than his family's. Even if they couldn't earn much money, it was still good to come to Zhao Yun's house to eat and drink. Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui were shameless, and Liang Jinxiao didn't know what to say. Naturally, he didn't want his two brothers to come over. They didn't come when he invited them previously, but now they took the initiative to ask for help. Big brother, second brother, I understand what you're saying, but we've already contacted the other bricklayers. We can't fire them now, right? We're all from the same village, so we have to be honest. Liang Jinshan waved his hand. Big sister, it's fine. We didn't ask you to fire them. Your second brother and I will only have 2 more people. With 2 more people, your house should be able to be built faster. That's right, big sister. The earlier you build it, the earlier we can get this over with. Your family can also live in a big house earlier, so that you don't have to squeeze your whole family into one room. How can it be more comfortable than living in a big house? Liang Jinhui chimed in from behind. Liang Jinxiao knew what his brothers said made sense. The sooner the house was built, the sooner the family could move out. It was better than living with old Zhao's family. Yun's father. Liang Jinxiao's gaze fell on Zhao Wenhua, seeking Zhao Wenhua's opinion. Zhao Wenhua thought about it and nodded. After all, Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui were Zhao Yun's uncles. It would be embarrassing to reject them like this. Yun's uncles, then the salary. Zhao Wenhua was more worried about the salary. He was afraid that they would raise it too high and their family couldn't afford it. Also, if the other bricklayers knew that the salary was different for the same job, they would definitely have opinions. The salary is easy. It's the same as the other bricklayers, Liang Jinshun said. This way, he would not be at a disadvantage and would be able to get Zhao Wenhua to agree. If it was according to what he said before, he was afraid that Zhao Yunlong would refuse. Zhao Wenhua sighed and said, "Okay, Yun'er's eldest uncle and second uncle, I'll let you know when the house is built." Good, good, good. Liang Jinshun and Liang Jinhui were overjoyed. When Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng left the courtyard, they saw Zhao Tianan. He paced back and forth in the courtyard, but did not go in. Suddenly, she saw Zhao Yun'er come out. She looked at Zhao Yun'er with a guilty conscience. Zhao Yun'er looked at her younger brother. It seemed that he had been standing outside for a long time. Thinking about it, she knew why. Zhao Tianan probably remembered what she said before, so he didn't come back for dinner. She sighed in her heart and asked, "Tianan, have you eaten?" Zhao Tianan shook his head and was very honest. "Ma Xiaofeng didn't ask you to stay for dinner?" Zhao Yun'er continued to ask with a hint of sarcasm in her tone. Zhao Tianan's face turned red, and he stuttered as he explained, "Second sister. I don't eat well at Xiaofeng's house. People will gossip, then why don't you run to her house every day? Aren't you afraid that people will gossip?" Zhao Yun'er asked in return. "Second sister, this is different." "How is it different?" "It's okay to send gifts. There's no need to avoid it. Why is there a problem after eating a meal?" Chapter 785. Zhao Yun'er thought it was funny, but she also felt a little sad. Seeing Zhao Tianan blushing and not knowing how to explain himself, Zhao Yun'er sighed and said, "Since you haven't eaten, you should go back. There are still some dishes left, let Mom heat them up for you." Zhao Tianan answered in a cowardly manner. "We'll go back first," Zhao Yun'er said, and the two of them continued to walk while holding Daoda's hand. Daoda walked in the middle, holding Zhao Yun'er's hand in one hand and Mu Lianfeng's hand in the other. He swung them back and forth, looking very happy. Seeing the happy smile on Daoda's small face, Zhao Yun'er's mouth also slightly evoked a smile. This feeling was really good. However, in contrast to Daoda's happy expression, Mu Lianfeng was. He still looked a little unhappy. This guy, he didn't say anything even though something happened. How would she know the reason if he didn't say anything? After returning home, Daoda began to feel sleepy after eating and drinking to his heart's content. He fell into Zhao Yun'er's arms and fell into a deep sleep not long after. Zhao Yun'er carried Daoda to bed, then covered him with the blanket and let him sleep for a while. After waiting for Daoda to fall asleep, Zhao Yun'er sat on the stool, propped up her chin, and asked Mu Lianfeng, "Can you tell me why you're unhappy?" Mu Lianfeng glanced at Zhao Yun'er, then suddenly waved at Zhao Yun'er. "Come here." "Huh?" Zhao Yun'er looked confused. "Sit on my lap first, then I'll tell you," Mu Lianfeng said very proudly. Zhao Yun'er hesitated for a moment, feeling like a lamb in a tiger's mouth, but she still followed Mu Lianfeng's instructions and sat on Mu Lianfeng's lap. As soon as she sat down, Zhao Yun'er was hugged tightly by Mu Lianfeng. Without any warning, Mu Lianfeng suddenly leaned forward and kissed Zhao Yun'er's little mouth. Zhao Yun'er let out a muffled sound. This guy suddenly kissed her. This time, Mu Lianfeng didn't touch Zhao Yun'er lightly, but tyrannically, he invaded Zhao Yun'er's mouth, as if he wanted to swallow her into his stomach. Zhao Yun'er couldn't break free at all and could only passively accept it. His kiss had a hint of a wolf's nature. Zhao Yun'er was shocked, but she was also puzzled. How could it be like this? After a long time, Zhao Yun'er felt that her lips were a little red from being bitten. Only then did Mu Lianfeng let her go. Regaining her freedom, Zhao Yun'er took a few deep breaths of fresh air. If Mu Lianfeng didn't let go of her, she would probably suffocate to death. Mu Lianfeng gazed at Zhao Yun'er affectionately, which made Zhao Yun'er a little flustered. Can you tell me the reason now? Zhao Yun'er asked. I'm jealous. Mu Lianfeng's lips opened slightly and spat out these two words. Zhao Yun'er was slightly stunned. Jealous. She was wondering why Mu Lianfeng's vinegar smell was so strong. He was really jealous. But, who was he jealous of? Mu Lianfeng responded. So, how are you going to make it up to me? No. Zhao Yun'er still didn't understand. Why are you jealous? What did I do? Mu Lianfeng shook his head. Yun'er, you didn't do anything. It's just that there are too many flowers and plants around you. Zhao Yun'er finally understood what Mu Lianfeng meant. Chapter 786. Thinking of Yili, Zhao Yun'er suddenly remembered that Mu Lianfeng's abnormality started when Zhao Ping'er called Mu Lianfeng out for breakfast. That B*TCH must have said something to Mu Lianfeng again. Zhao Ping'er, that B*TCH, I'll teach her a lesson later. No, I only have one or two. I don't even like them. Why are you jealous? Zhao Yun'er asked with a smile. I don't like it when they stare at you, Mu Lianfeng answered honestly. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but laugh. Who doesn't show off to others? Aren't there more women staring at you when you walk on the street? Based on what you said, wouldn't I be even more jealous? Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun'er's smiling face and didn't know how to answer. Do you not like it when they stare at me, or are you afraid that I'll be snatched away? Zhao Yun'er asked jokingly. Mu Lianfeng was silent for a moment and didn't answer. Zhao Yun'er chuckled and said, Mu Lianfeng, I'm not stupid. I'm afraid it's hard to find a man more outstanding than you in this world, right? Do you think other men can attract me so easily? Are you that unconfident in yourself? Mu Lianfeng felt a lot more at ease after Zhao Yun'er said that. Zhao Yun'er was right. It was hard to find a man more outstanding than him in this world. So far, Mu Lianfeng had only acknowledged one person in his heart, however, that person's status was too high. He definitely wasn't interested in Zhao Yun'er. Mu Lianfeng put down the worry in his heart and said, Yun'er, take me with you when you go to sell breakfast tomorrow. I'll go and help me. Zhao Yun'er coughed upon hearing Mu Lianfeng's words. You. What are you going to do? You're a young master, don't tell me you have to serve others. One day is enough. I'll help out for a day and see how your stall is doing. I want to know how busy and tired you are every day. Seeing Mu Lianfeng's insistence, Zhao Yun'er nodded. Okay then, let's go together tomorrow. Yes. Mu Lianfeng responded, and his expression eased a lot. Zhao Yun'er asked Mu Lianfeng to continue resting. His body hadn't recovered yet. Mu Lianfeng, on the other hand, went to bed obediently. In the afternoon, Mu Lan rushed over. Yun'er, seeing that Mu Lan's face was red and she couldn't stop panting, Zhao Yun'er said, Sister-in-law Mu Lan, don't be anxious. You can talk about it slowly. Mu Lan stopped in her tracks and heaved a sigh of relief. She said to Zhao Yun'er, Yun'er, I might not be able to help at the stall tomorrow. What's wrong? Sister-in-law Mu Lan. Mu Lan sighed. Yun'er, something happened at my maternal home. I have to rush back. I still have to deal with things there tomorrow. He won't have time to help at the stall. Looking at Mu Lan's expression, it was obvious that something big had happened. Zhao Yun'er comforted her. It's okay, it's okay. Sister-in-law Mu Lan, you should deal with your own matters first. My mother and I can handle the stall. Mu Lan sighed, looking a little apologetic. But this sudden incident wasn't what she had expected. Then Yun'er, I'll have to trouble you for the next 2 days. Zhao Yun'er shook her head. It's okay. Sister-in-law, you don't have to worry about the stall. Haven't you and my mother been busy while I was gone? Okay. I'll deal with it as soon as possible. Chapter 787. Mulan was touched. Yun, you're so nice. What kind of courteous words are you saying? Is there a need to be so courteous with our relationship? There's no need to be courteous. We're different from normal people. Yeah. Sister Mulan, you should go back first. It's more important to take care of business. Yes, yes. Mulan nodded heavily and hurriedly ran back. Zhao Yun couldn't help but worry as she watched Mulan run away. It wasn't easy for Mulan's life to get better. She couldn't let anything happen to her again. Zhao Yun frowned and turned to go back into the house. She thought about how Mu Lianfeng had suddenly offered to help out at the stall. Now that they were short of one person, he could make up the numbers. The next morning, Zhao Yun woke Mu Lianfeng up and they all rushed to Yang City. Zhao Ping couldn't help but feel proud when she saw Mu Lianfeng actually making a move. Mu Lianfeng must have listened to her. When they reached Yang City, they would be able to see Yi Li, and naturally, he would believe her. Thinking about how Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng might fall out, Zhao Ping was secretly happy. On the way, Liang Jinxiao told Zhao Ling about Liang Jinshan and Liang Jinhui coming over to help them build a house. Zhao Yun was silent for a moment. She had never seen someone so thick-skinned. However, her parents had agreed to it again. Mother, if that's the case, then forget it. It's better for us to finish building the house as soon as possible. Liang Jinxiao nodded. That's right. That's what Mother thinks. With a big house, it'll be easier for Tianan to get a wife. Yes, that's right. It's better for Tianan to start a family early. That way, he wouldn't have to think about that Ma Xiaofeng every day. These 2 days, I will discuss with your uncle Yu Kai to let their niece meet our Tianan. Perhaps the two children will like each other. Okay, Mother, then you arrange it. Zhao Yun agreed very much. In fact, it was not that there were no good girls, but Zhao Tianan had too little contact with them. Zhao Tianan wouldn't just talk about how good Ma Xiaofeng was after he got to know a few more people. Soon, they arrived at Yang City. Zhao Yun's family's stall was bustling with activity. Zhao Yun briefly explained to Mu Lianfeng how to do it. Mu Lianfeng got the hang of it very quickly and did not do any worse than them. When they first set up the stall, Yi Li hadn't arrived yet, so the two men didn't bump into each other. However, Mu Lianfeng's handsome face attracted many young women. Ah! Why is this man so good-looking? Yes, he's so good-looking. Such a good-looking man is actually here to sell breakfast. Look at his clothes and aura. He doesn't look like an ordinary person. He's so good-looking. I also think that this man's status is not ordinary. But why is he here to sell breakfast? I don't know. This stall is so strange. Why are there so many good-looking men here? That's right. I've seen the most good-looking man in Yang City at this stall. Aya, why are you still talking so much? Let's go buy breakfast from him. Let's take a closer look and see how good-looking he is. Okay. Let's go take a look. Thus, several women scrambled to go over to him. Chapter 788. Seeing these women rushing towards Mu Lianfeng, Zhao Yun shook her head. It was really an era where one's looks mattered. Mu Lianfeng was good-looking and well-liked. Even if he sold breakfast, it would be better than the average person. Thinking about it, even if Mu Lianfeng left the Shitzi estate in the future, with his looks, he would definitely be able to make a living. Mu Lianfeng looked at the women in front of him and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch a few times. Originally, he came over to take a look at Zhao Yun's peach blossoms. He didn't expect that he would be contaminated by peach blossoms. These women were fighting to be the first to stand, staring at him as if they wanted to swallow him up. Mu Lianfeng couldn't help but frown. In fact, when it came to women, other than Zhao Yun, Mu Lianfeng wasn't interested in any of them. He even hated it when women got close to him. Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun, with hidden bitterness. Zhao Yun shrugged her shoulders, indicating that she was helpless and couldn't do anything. These peach blossoms were attracted by him, it had nothing to do with her. Zhao Yun knew the fighting power of these women. Even if she wanted to come forward and save Mu Lianfeng, it wouldn't be an easy task. Mu Lianfeng, take it slow. You will only get busier. Zhao Yun couldn't help but tease him. Mu Lianfeng's frown deepened, faintly a little worried. Wasn't he courting death, running over here for no reason? Great, now he was being watched by these women as if he was a gorilla. Mu Lianfeng felt that he wasn't having a good time as the hot gazes fell on him. Unfortunately, he couldn't make them not look at him. Mu Lianfeng sighed. Forget it, if he came over, he would be busy alone. Zhao Yun would be able to relax a little. Young master, I want a vegetable bun, a shumai, and 10 fried dumplings. The woman walked in front of Mu Lianfeng and said coquettishly. A trace of disgust emerged in Mu Lianfeng's heart. She was a guest, but he had to restrain his temper and follow the woman's instructions. He wrapped the food in butter paper and handed it over. All right, here you are. 10 copper coins in total. All right. The woman handed over the money and touched Mu Lianfeng's hand. The other women behind them hissed. How could they take advantage of her like this? Well then, they should also learn from him. Zhao Yun watched from the side and scolded these people in her heart for being shameless. This was too much. This group of women didn't know how to be reserved. At this time, a very fat woman dressed in luxurious clothes walked over. She said to Mu Lianfeng, Gongzi is such a handsome and extraordinary man. How much money can he make by selling breakfast? How about this, Gongzi, follow me. I'll make sure you eat well and drink spicy food. I'll even give you a salary every month. How about it? The fat woman smiled wretchedly. Her smile was very ambiguous. These words meant that she was keeping Mu Lianfeng as a sugar baby. Zhao Yun'er was drinking soy milk. She couldn't hold it in and spat out all the soy milk from her mouth. Was this still an ancient person? Were the women of this era so open? After Mu Lianfeng heard this, his expression changed slightly and his body emitted a cold aura. He glanced at the fat woman and said to her, Auntie, please conduct yourself with dignity. The fat woman saw that Mu Lianfeng actually called her auntie. Was she that old? This gigolo was too much. He didn't know how to appreciate favors. Following behind her was naturally more comfortable than setting up a stall here. Chapter 789. He's so fat and ugly, but he still dares to come out. If I were him, I would be too embarrassed to say it out loud. Exactly. He must be blind to be with such an ugly woman. Does he think he can do whatever he wants because he's rich? Why doesn't he take a look at his own face? If he goes out with this face, he'll scare people to death. I'm not saying that this child has a backbone. If I were the same, I would probably vomit and lose my appetite in front of such a face all day long. No matter how many fragrant and spicy dishes are given, I won't be able to eat them in front of such a face. That's right. Thinking of such an ugly face, I feel disgusted. It's really painful to look at. This child is so handsome. How can he compromise for a little bit of money? Listening to these people talking one after another, the fat woman's face and ears turned red. Zhao Yun couldn't help laughing out loud. It was really interesting. Thinking about it, the fat woman was really bold. If she knew that she was talking to the child, she would probably be scared out of her wits. The fat woman's face and ears turned red because of these women's words. She glared at them angrily. What are you talking about? Believe it or not, I'll tear your mouths apart if you say one more word. The fat woman was ugly, but she was very fierce when she shouted. It looked very scary. However, the other women were not to be trifled with either. The fat woman's roar caused even more commotion. What kind of person is she? Why don't she tell us? She's always like that. Don't you dare to admit it? Huh, exactly. What kind of person is she? It's disgusting just looking at her. She said she'll tear our mouths apart. Does she really think that we're afraid? Huh, who's afraid? There are so many of us. Do you think we're afraid of her? Let's fight. Let her see how powerful we are. Does she think that we're easy to bully? The women rolled up their sleeves one by one and got ready to fight. Although the fat woman was fierce, no matter how powerful she was, she couldn't fight against so many women at the same time. His brows were knitted together, and his face was full of resentment. He cursed these people in his heart. She had money, so what if she was happy to do it? All these years, because she was rich, she had many men. So what if she was ugly? If she gave him money, there would be countless men rushing over, and there was no lack of good-looking ones among them. The reason why she came forward this time was because she felt that Mu Lianfeng was too good-looking, so she came over to ask. It would be better if this man submitted to her, but if he didn't, then forget it. She had only asked a question. She didn't expect these cheese to talk about her like that. It was too much. So what if I'm ugly? I've slept with a lot more men than you guys. The fat woman shouted angrily. TSK, TSK, TSK. She was still so proud of this. Other women slept with many men, so why didn't she come out and show off? Huh, that's right. How can there be such a person? We won't sleep with other men. Isn't it enough to have our own man? Only ugly women are like this. They can't get married. If a man finds out that she's sleeping with someone else, he'll break her legs. Such an ugly woman will definitely not be able to get married. No one would want a man. Haha. Chapter 790. All of a sudden, Zhao Yun's stall was bustling with noise and excitement. Those women gathered together and blocked the other customers' way. Zhao Yun wanted to intervene when she saw those women quarreling and blocking her business. However, she knew that if she said anything, those crazy women would definitely attack her. She was so tired. When women went crazy, they were so scary. They would bite anyone they saw. Of course, Mu Lianfeng played a big role in the chaos in front of her stall. Mu Lianfeng seemed to realize that his arrival had brought trouble to Zhao Yun. If he came today, he definitely wouldn't come tomorrow. If he came every day, Zhao Yun's business would be closed. Mu Lianfeng's eyes were filled with disgust as he looked at the women who were arguing until their faces were red. If you want to quarrel, go somewhere else. I need to do business here. Mu Lianfeng couldn't stand it anymore and said to those women. His voice was a little cold. The women heard it and were scared to shut their mouths at once. Fat woman, since you've already bought, you should leave now. The rest of us still need to buy. There are still so many people waiting behind us. We still want to buy what you don't want. Go, go. The fat woman was urged and walked away. The rest of the women squeezed forward one by one and continued to line up in front of Mu Lianfeng to buy things. Although Mu Lianfeng didn't like those women who squeezed in front of him, at least they stopped quarreling now and could continue to do business. Mu Lianfeng was sadly touched by those women. He was like a tempting prey being stared at by others. He was extremely busy for more than an hour. When it was past 7 p.m., Yili came and greeted Mu Lianfeng face to face. Zhao Ping was waiting to watch a good show. She even coughed to remind Mu Lianfeng. Seeing a handsome man coming over and Zhao Yun sitting down after greeting him, Mu Lianfeng felt that there was danger in the air. Zhao Ping didn't tell him that Yili was the man, but Mu Lianfeng recognized him. This man's appearance was even better than he had imagined. Such a handsome man actually stayed in front of Zhao Yun all day long. For him, this man was really a big rival in love. He didn't care about Lu Lei, but this man wasn't an ordinary man in both appearance and temperament. Zhao Yun noticed that Mu Lianfeng's gaze fell on Yili. Mu Lianfeng, what's wrong? Mu Lianfeng shook his head and moved his gaze away from Yili. He'd better not let this man find out that he had ulterior motives towards Zhao Yun. If he found out, he would teach him a lesson. Well, don't just stand there. There are still people here. Let's get busy. Zhao Yun smiled. Sure. Mu Lianfeng answered absent-mindedly. Seeing Mu Lianfeng like this, Zhao Yun had a rough idea of what was going on. This guy had been strange ever since he saw Yi Li. He must have been jealous yesterday because of Yi Li. Zhao Ping, must have said something to Mu Lianfeng to make Mu Lianfeng misunderstand her relationship with Yi Li. Chapter 791. She really had nothing to do with Yi Li. If Mu Lianfeng didn't believe her, there was nothing she could do. She didn't have any other way to prove her innocence. Women were scary when they were jealous, but men seemed to be scarier. Zhao Yun glanced at Mu Lianfeng, then looked at Yi Li. Compared to Mu Lianfeng's uneasiness, Yi Li was much calmer. He merely glanced at Mu Lianfeng and sat down to eat breakfast as usual. There was nothing out of the ordinary. Zhao Ping didn't want to see the two men arguing, so she said to Yi Li, "Some people are so pitiful. See it now? Zhao Yun already has another man, but you still come here every day to protect Zhao Yun." Zhao Ping sighed with pity. "You're the only one who's stupid enough to be fooled by Zhao Yun. Do you know what kind of person Zhao Yun is now?" Yi Li lowered his head and ate quietly. Zhao Ping deliberately got close to him and whispered in his ear, which made Yi Li frown with disgust. He didn't like to hear anything bad about Zhao Yun, especially those who were trying to sow discord between them. Therefore, he said in a cold voice, "Shut up if you don't want to die." Zhao Ping glared at Yi Li angrily. "How can you be like this? I kindly reminded you, but you don't believe me. Zhao Yun is such a slut." The more Zhao Ping thought about it, the angrier she got. She couldn't figure out how Zhao Yun could be so powerful. Even at this point, another man was still protecting her. Yi Li paused for a second and looked at Zhao Ping coldly. "Do you want to die? Then I can fulfill your wish." Yi Li then grabbed Zhao Ping's neck with one hand. Zhao Ping suddenly had difficulty breathing. She used the last of her strength to shout in Mu Lianfeng's direction. "Lord Heir, help! Murder!" Zhao Ping's voice attracted the attention of the other people at the stall. Mu Lianfeng turned around and saw Yi Li grabbing Zhao Ping's neck. His eyes were cold and bloodthirsty. Liang Jinxiao said in a hurry, "Lord Yi, what are you doing? Can you let Pinger go?" Looking at Zhao Ping's flushed face, Liang Jinxiao's eyes were full of worry. Yi Li glanced at Zhao Yun, then let go of Zhao Ping. He didn't forget to warn her, "If you talk too much, I won't let you go so easily next time." Zhao Ping, who regained her freedom, took a few deep breaths of fresh air. This man was simply too ruthless. How could he treat her like this? She was so angry. After Zhao Ping took a few breaths of relief, there was more resentment in her eyes. Zhao Ping was naturally unwilling to let this matter go, so she quickly hid behind Mu Lianfeng and said to Mu Lianfeng, "Lord Heir, this is the man. I just talked about him and Yun's sister, and he treated me like this. Your Highness, you have to uphold justice for me." "Woo!" Zhao Ping cried pitifully in front of Mu Lianfeng. She thought that she looked like an apricot flower in the rain, which made people pity her. In fact, she looked very ugly when she cried, even uglier than usual. Just one glance at her made people feel a little nauseous. Chapter 792. Mu Lianfeng retracted his hand from Zhao Ping's grip on his sleeve in disgust at Zhao Ping's actions. "This woman. She's so noisy that it hurts my ears." Mu Lianfeng narrowed his eyes and stared at Yi Li. It was as though the two men were about to start a war. Mu Lianfeng didn't really want to stand up for Zhao Ping. Instead, he was hostile towards Yi Li from the start. How could he let Yi Li off so easily if he dared to steal his woman? Yili calmly stood in front of Mu Lianfeng and sized up Mu Lianfeng. This was the first time he had seen Mu Lianfeng at such a close distance. No wonder Zhao Yuner already had someone she liked. This man was indeed outstanding. Whether it was his looks or his aura, he was much better than the average person. Moreover, he was the current crown prince. Seeing that the two men were about to fight, Zhao Yuner felt a headache coming on. She needed to coordinate this. Just as she was about to ask the two of them to sit down and have a good talk, Yili spoke in a cold voice. You want to protect this woman? You want to believe her nonsense? Mu Lianfeng was slightly taken aback and his gaze turned sharp for a moment. Crown Prince, look at him. It's bad enough that he's hooking up with Zhao Yuner, but he's even treating you like this. He's too much. Zhao Pinger started to fan the flames behind Mu Lianfeng. When she saw that Mu Lianfeng didn't react, she added, Crown Prince, this person is here all day. It's because he's in Yang City that you can't see Zhao Yuner flirting with him every day. When you came over today, Zhao Yuner didn't talk much. The two of them used to have a lot of fun chatting. When Zhao Yuner heard Zhao Pinger's words, she thought that it was indeed Zhao Pinger who was spouting nonsense in front of Mu Lianfeng. Hence, she said coldly to Zhao Pinger, what nonsense are you spouting? Do you think I won't tear your mouth apart? The angrier Zhao Yuner was, the more pleased Zhao Pinger was. If it were any other day, she would probably be afraid of Zhao Yuner. But now, she wasn't afraid. After all, Mu Lianfeng was protecting her. Shi Ziyi, you see, Zhao Yun is so anxious and angry because I exposed her. Crown Prince. You have to take a good look at what kind of woman she is. Zhao Yuner felt that her lungs were about to explode from anger. What kind of grudge did she have with Zhao Pinger? She thought that she had treated her well, but this slut had harmed her time and time again. Was this how she couldn't bear to see her living well? The more Zhao Yuner thought about it, the more she felt that she had raised an ingrate. Zhao Pinger, I think you just want Crown Prince to be angry with me. Flirting with each other? Do you think I'm like you, eager to get close to a man? Mother and sister-in-law Mulan are at the stall every day. Didn't they see it? Zhao Yuner looked at Zhao Pinger like she was looking at an idiot. Don't quibble, Crown Prince. Don't believe her. She's stubborn and won't admit it. I saw it all. Zhao Pinger hid behind Mu Lianfeng and continued to speak. Yili sneered, this is the first time I've seen an older sister who would harm her younger sister like this. I've seen it for myself. It's not an exaggeration to say that you have a heart of snakes and scorpions. If I were Yuner, I would never let such a person be by my side. After speaking to Zhao Pinger, he looked at Mu Lianfeng and said to Mu Lianfeng, if you believe this woman, it means that you don't have much trust in Yuner. Yuner is such a good girl, it's not worth entrusting her to you. Chapter 793. Mu Lianfeng's thin lips moved slightly as he said to Yili, when did I ever say that I didn't believe Yuner? Then why are you protecting this woman? Yili chuckled. There was a hint of sarcasm in his laughter. Protecting her? Mu Lianfeng raised his brows. I just want to see what kind of tricks she has up her sleeve. With that, he pushed Zhao Pinger out of the room. Zhao Pinger fell heavily to the ground and looked at Mu Lianfeng pitifully. Lord Heir, I'm telling the truth. Zhao Yun is entangled with him. Don't be fooled. If you dare to say another word, I can't guarantee that you will still be alive. Mu Lianfeng warned her coldly. Zhao Pinger trembled in fear and quickly shut her mouth. Mu Lianfeng didn't believe her. Or rather, he didn't want to believe her. Yili felt that Mu Lianfeng had gone too easy on her. After framing Zhao Yun like this, how could he let this woman off just like that? If it were him, he would have directly cut off Zhao Pinger's tongue. Now he was really doubtful. If such a man stayed by Zhao Yun's side, would he really be able to protect Zhao Yun and prevent Zhao Yun from being taken advantage of? If this man couldn't protect Zhao Yun how could he let Zhao Yun go? Mu Lianfeng took a step forward and stood in front of Yi Li. The two men looked directly at each other. Why are you entangled with Yun? Mu Lianfeng asked. A fair and virtuous woman is a good match for a gentleman. Miss Yun'er is a good girl. It's my business that I admire her. I came here every day and only ate breakfast. I didn't do anything to Yun'er, and I don't have any dirty thoughts about her. So, it can't be considered as pestering. To Mu Lianfeng, Yi Li's words were just excuses. I don't like other men appearing around Yun'er, so I hope you can stay away from Yun'er in the future. Don't wander around her so often. Yi Li did not give in. I'm just eating some snacks. Who is it that I'm interfering with? What are you afraid of? Are you worried that Yun'er will be snatched away by me? You think you can? Then why don't you dare to let me appear in front of her? It means that you still think that Yun will be taken away by me. Seeing that the battle between the two of them was getting more and more intense, Zhao Yun'er rubbed her temples. Her head was hurting. All of this was caused by Zhao Ping'er. This woman, she would teach her a lesson later. Right now, the most important thing was to settle the matter between Mu Lianfeng and Yi Li. So she inserted herself between the two of them and said to Mu Lianfeng and Yi Li, "All right, can the two of you stop arguing?" After Zhao Yun'er yelled at them, the two men immediately quieted down. They did not say anything and just looked at Zhao Yun'er. Mu Lianfeng, there's nothing going on between Yi Li and I. He came to my breakfast stall just to eat some breakfast. If he really had any ulterior motives, he would have done it long ago. Why would he wait until now? And Yi Li, you should understand by now that I already have a child and a husband. So there's no possibility between us. You can only be friends to me. Zhao Yun'er said this to Mu Lianfeng to clarify her relationship with Yi Li. She also said this to reassure Mu Lianfeng that she had chosen and acknowledged him. After Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, the two men fell silent and did not say anything. Chapter 794. How could he not know that? He had waited for many days for Zhao Yun'er to come to Yang City when it rained, but Zhao Yun'er never came. He knew that Zhao Yun'er would not come when it rained. So he asked around and went to Shuilan village. Then he saw Zhao Yun'er, Daodu, and Mu Lianfeng. When he found out, he was indeed disheartened. It was not easy for him to have feelings for a woman, but this woman had already started a family. In other words, it was basically impossible between him and Zhao Yun'er. After being disheartened for a few days, he suddenly thought it through. Facing the woman he liked, even if she had a child and a husband, what could he do in the future? She was still her, and that did not stop him from liking her. It was enough for him to be able to take a few more glances at the woman he liked every day. Why did he have to be with her? After thinking it through, Mu Lianfeng continued to come to Zhao Yun'er's stall every day for breakfast. When Mu Lianfeng heard this, the corners of his mouth curved up slightly. When Zhao Yun'er said this, she was naturally telling another man that she was his and that no one could take her away from him. His originally gloomy mood instantly improved. Yun'er. If that's the case, let him eat if he wants to. Our family's business can't be abandoned. We can't just let the money go to waste. Mu Lianfeng finally relented and said to Zhao Yun'er. If he said no, it would seem that he was too petty and did not trust Zhao Yun'er. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er had extinguished the war between the two men with just a few words, Zhao Ping'er was unusually indignant. She bit her lower lip and said to Mu Lianfeng, "Heir presumptive." Before Zhao Ping'er could say anything, Mu Lianfeng looked over coldly. "Shut up." Zhao Ping'er trembled for a moment. She was indignant, but she could only shut her mouth. Yi Li was speechless. It was good that he was allowed to continue eating breakfast. "All right, let's get back to work," Zhao Yun said. "Yes." Mu Lianfeng nodded. As he spoke, Mu Lianfeng went to the front of the stall and continued to deal with the women who swarmed over. Yi Li sat down at the table and started eating. The smoke between the two men was finally extinguished. Zhao Yun'er breathed a sigh of relief. He would definitely not let Mu Lianfeng come here again. Otherwise, something bad would definitely happen. Because of the presence of Mu Lianfeng and Yi Li, the two gorgeous men, Zhao Yun'er's breakfast stall was closed early again. When they went back, Zhao Ping wanted to follow them, but Zhao Yun glared at her. Zhao Ping, you're quite capable. You're actually trying to drive a wedge between me and the crown prince. You're the one who won't admit it. I'm just stating the truth. I don't even know myself, but you actually know. You're quite capable. You don't have to come to the stall tomorrow. Zhao Ping was immediately unhappy. Why should I? Because this stall is mine. Zhao Yun'er, you didn't let me come over because you were afraid that I would see you whispering sweet nothings to another man. Crown Prince, look at Zhao Yun'er. She has a guilty conscience, but you actually believe her nonsense. Zhao Ping anxiously spoke to Mu Lianfeng. She was still unwilling to give up slandering Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Ping was still unwilling to give up. Mu Lianfeng sneered. His sharp gaze landed on Zhao Ping. His smile was even colder. Are you saying that this crown prince is blind? Chapter 795. Of course, this was only what Mu Lianfeng thought in his heart, but he did not dare to say it out loud. If he said it out loud, he would definitely lose his life. Let's go, mother, Mu Lianfeng. Zhao Yun said and beckoned them to get on the carriage, but she did not take Zhao Ping with her. Zhao Yun, what are you doing? I want to get on the carriage too. If you want to go back, you can walk back by yourself. My family's Xiao Mao is in a bad mood today. I don't want to pull you. Zhao Yun said with a smile. At this time, Father Wu's ox cart had already left. Zhao Ping wanted to go back to the village, so she could only walk back. Zhao Yun, you're too much. Mother. Zhao Ping's pleading eyes fell on Liang Jinxiao, but Liang Jinxiao shook his head and did not want to care about this matter. Ping, girl, if you want to talk about going overboard, it's you who went overboard today. How can you say that to Yun? Zhao Ping curled her lips. Mother, you're helping her again. Before Zhao Ping could finish her words, Zhao Yun patted Xiao Mao's butt, and Xiao Mao immediately flew out. When Zhao Ping reacted, she could not catch up with it even if she wanted to. Zhao Yun felt that she was too kind to Zhao Ping. She should go back and teach her a lesson. On the way back, Zhao Yun let Mu Lianfeng rest on her shoulder. His body hadn't recovered yet, and after working so hard for the whole morning, he was probably exhausted. Mu Lianfeng leaned on Zhao Yun's shoulder and held Zhao Yun's hand tightly along the way, as if he let go, Zhao Yun would leave him. After a while, they arrived at the village. Zhao Yun cooked lunch and cooked a few dishes at noon. In the afternoon, Zhao Wenhua came over to discuss the purchase of materials. He started preparing to build the house. Apart from some of the materials that he needed, he had to prepare the rest. It would not be worth it to buy such things. It would be better to go to the mountains and cut them down himself. Shuilan village was next to a big mountain, and the last thing they lacked was wood. There were even more trees that were decades old in the mountains, and each of them was very thick. The ones he chopped down himself were probably better than the ones he bought. Yun'er, let's find some time tomorrow afternoon to bring the bricks and tiles over. I'll find a few men to cut down some of the wood for the beams at the foot of the mountain. Zhao Yun'er nodded. All right, father. You can arrange these things. If there's anything you need me to do, just let me know. Zhao Wenhua smiled and said, actually, it's not a big deal, but I have to let you know before I do it. Zhao Wenhua still preferred Zhao Yun'er's opinion. Now, he felt that he wanted to push the authority to Zhao Yun'er. This woman of his was much more capable than him now. When Mu Lianfeng heard this, he said to Zhao Wenhua, Uncle, if you're going to cut down trees, bring me along. I can help too. How could Zhao Wenhua be willing to trouble Mu Lianfeng with this kind of rough work? He said to Mu Lianfeng, "No need, Lord Heir. We'll do it. How can someone like you go into the mountains to cut down trees?" Mu Lianfeng raised his eyebrows indifferently. "Uncle, do you think it's a good idea for me to do this job?" No. Zhao Wenhua hurriedly waved his hand. "Lord Heir, that's not what I meant. This kind of rough work should be done by us countrymen. You shouldn't be doing this kind of work. You should be doing something big that we won't do." Chapter 796. When Zhao Yun saw Mu Lianfeng's expression, she said to Zhao Wenhua, "Father, since he wants to work, let him do it. If he's with me in the future, I can't treat him like a treasure and wait on him. I have to let him learn how to do our family's farm work." Zhao Yun said it casually, as if she was talking about an extremely normal matter. Zhao Wenhua wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. His daughter really treated Mu Lianfeng as an ordinary man. "Yun, this isn't a good idea," Zhao Wenhua said with some hesitation. "There's nothing wrong with it, father. You can't spoil him. Although he's the heir in front of others, he's your son-in-law in the future. Do you have to be so polite to your own son-in-law?" Zhao Yun said with a smile. When Zhao Yun said this, Zhao Wenhua felt that it made some sense. Mu Lianfeng also said, "Yes, uncle. You don't have to be polite to me. If you have any work to do, just order me around." Zhao Wenhua's heart was conflicted for a moment, but he still nodded in agreement in the end. "All right then. Heir, I'll call you when we go into the mountains to cut down trees." "Okay." After Zhao Yunlong finished talking about this matter, he went back. Zhao Yun finished preparing breakfast and went to the vegetable garden to tidy up. When it was 3 or 4 o'clock, Daodu pulled Zhao Yun and said to Zhao Yun, "Mother, San-er's mother is back. But they're quarreling. Mother, do you want to go and take a look? Mulan is back." That's quite fast. But what did Daodu mean by quarreling? Mulan was quarreling for no reason. Who was she quarreling with? Zhao Yun frowned slightly. She was curious and said to Daodu, "Okay, then Daodu will bring mother over." Yes. Daodu nodded and held Zhao Yun with his soft little hand. The two of them walked in the direction of Mulan's house. When they arrived at Mulan's courtyard, Zhao Yun finally understood why Daodu said they were quarreling. From afar, she could hear old Madame Zhu talking at the top of her voice. Qi Shi was on the side helping her, but she didn't know what she was talking about. When Zhao Yun went over, she saw Mulan standing in the courtyard. Behind her stood a 16 or 17-year-old girl. She looked very charming and resembled Mulan. Zhao Yun remembered that Mulan mentioned that she had a younger sister who was around this age. The girl behind Mulan now should be Mulan's younger sister, Mu Hin. However, this was the first time she came to Mulan's house. Mrs. Zhu was so fierce and unfriendly. Mu Hin seemed a little scared and nervous. She shrank behind Mulan, lowered her head, and didn't dare to speak. Mulan confronted Mrs. Zhu confidently. Zhao Yun got closer and heard what Mrs. Zhu said. "Second daughter-in-law, it's not that I want to criticize you, but you brought your younger sister back. Our courtyard is already so crowded. How can there be so many people living in it?" "That's right. She eats and drinks your food every day. Second daughter-in-law, you have so much money to support an outsider. Why don't you use the money to show filial piety to our mother?" Madame Qi chimed in and mocked. Old Madame Zhu snorted, then continued to mock. "She's so filial. She fawns over others every day and treats others well. How would she know that I'm her mother-in-law?" Chapter 797. Madame Qi continued to mock Mulan as if she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to cause any trouble. If Mrs. Zhu and Mulan were to quarrel, she would naturally be happy to see it happen. At the mention of this, Mrs. Zhu became even angrier. She snorted coldly. I've never seen such an unfilial woman. How did our family marry such a daughter-in-law? We've been so unlucky for half our lives. It's so shameful if this gets out. She doesn't provide for her own daughter-in-law and son. After Mrs. Zhu finished speaking, Madame Qi continued to speak. Isn't that so? Which family doesn't take good care of their in-laws? Otherwise, how can they be considered a good daughter-in-law? It's fine if second sister-in-law isn't filial to you, but now that she's a member of our family Zhu, she's actually helping to provide for her own family. In the entire village, no, in the entire town, there's no one like her within a few hundred miles. I think she just doesn't think of herself as a family Zhu's daughter-in-law. Mrs. Zhu snorted coldly. For so many years, our family Zhu has raised a traitor for nothing. When Zhao Yun heard Mrs. Zhu and Madame Qi's words, she couldn't help but sneer. These two people were really interesting. They echoed each other and scolded Mulan. This Madame Qi was the most interesting. Now, she kept saying that she was filial, but she had never been filial to Mrs. Zhu. She didn't know how she had the nerve to say this. Mrs. Zhu was also a weirdo. She didn't think about how she usually treated Mulan. If she were Mulan, it would be a good thing if she didn't chase Mrs. Zhu away. Filial to her? She would feed her tea every day. Mulan lowered his head and suppressed the anger in his heart. In fact, he felt a little guilty. A married woman couldn't help her own family much. Moreover, he had brought his younger sister back. It was fine if she stayed for 2 days, but she would have to stay every day in the future. When the people in the village heard about this, they couldn't help but nag at the back like Mrs. Zhu. But what could he do? Other than buying her sister back, she really didn't know what else to do. Mu Hin tugged at Mulan's arm and said to Mulan, "Sis, why don't you send me back?" She saw her elder sister's situation and didn't want Mulan to be in a difficult position. It wasn't worth it for Mulan to be criticized in such a way for her sake. Mulan grabbed Mulan's hand. Xin, how can I let you go back? If you go back, you'll be like a wolf in a tiger's den. I can't just watch you jump into a sea of fire. This time, Mulan returned to her parents' home because her cheap mother had died. All these years, after marrying her father, her mother had been suffering all day. Not only did she have to work tirelessly at her husband's house every day, but she was also disliked. It was mainly because her mother only gave birth to 2 girls, her and her younger sister. Because she didn't give birth to a boy, her husband's family felt that their bloodline had been cut off because of her father's family. They were always picky with her mother and even scolded her mother for being a hen that couldn't lay eggs. Just like that, her mother lived in her husband's house for more than 20 years. She didn't eat well during her work and her health deteriorated. This time, she accidentally caught a cold and was called to the embassy. In the end, her body couldn't take it anymore and her illness worsened. In the end, she died. Of course, Mulan didn't know all this. Because after marrying into the family Zhu, her life wasn't easy and she didn't have time to visit her parents' home often. Chapter 798. Knowing that her mother had passed away, her maternal family brought the news over, and she rushed back to her maternal family. Of course, Mu Hin was the one who told her the details of her mother's illness. She was not at her maternal family's house, but Mu Hin was. After hearing about her mother's suffering, Mulan was furious. If she knew that her mother was in such a situation, she would definitely bring her mother here and take good care of her. Her mother would not have passed away at such a young age at the age of 40. This was not the most important thing. The most infuriating thing was that when her mother had just been buried, her grandmother was too inhumane. She actually said that she wanted to sell her younger sister, Mu Hin, to an old widower in the village for 20 taels of silver. On the surface, she meant that she would marry over, and the 20 taels of silver would be the wedding gift. However, Mulan knew that she was selling her younger sister. In this day and age, people would gossip if they sold their daughters. That was why her grandmother found such an excuse. Mulan had heard about the old widower. He had a wife before, but she was beaten to death by him. He liked to gamble and beat people. He had a bad temper. Now that he was in his 50s, he wanted to marry a wife and have children. How could Mulan let her younger sister fall into such a fire? If Muhin really married over, not only would she be ruined, but she might also lose her life in the future. After all, he had beaten one wife to death first. Who knew if he would beat a second wife to death? Of course, after she sold Mu Xian for 20 taels of silver, she could pay for her father's second wife and marry another woman. By then, she might even have a son. It would be good for her father to carry on the family line. Mulan's father was also a good-for-nothing. He felt that Mulan's mother did not give birth to a son for him, which made him feel very embarrassed. Therefore, he did not like his wife. This time, Mulan's grandmother made such an arrangement for him, and he naturally agreed to it. If he could really have a son, it would be even better. After he had a son, no one would laugh at him anymore. Mulan was extremely disappointed in her family. Even a beast would not do such a wicked thing. This time, after returning home, Mulan had a big fight and directly brought Muhin back. Mulan didn't want her younger sister to stay in that kind of family any longer. Naturally, he would not let Muhin suffer. When Mulan brought Muhin back, the Mu family did not agree so easily. In comparison, Mulan had to negotiate and agree. She took out 5 taels of silver and Muhin could come back with her. 5 taels of silver was only Mulan's father's betrothal gift, so both sides had compromised. However, Mulan had to give the 5 taels of silver to the Mu family within half a month. Otherwise, she would directly take Muhin back and let her marry that old widower. Compared to her younger sister's life, Mulan felt that 5 taels of silver was still acceptable. Although she was unwilling to take out the 5 taels of silver, she knew that if she did not take it out, the Mu family would probably really force her younger sister to marry that old widower. After all, the Mu family was extremely shameless. It was not impossible for them to do such a thing. Naturally, she could not take out the 5 taels of silver. After thinking about it, she could only borrow it from Zhao Yuner and return it to Zhao Yuner when the time came. Mulan was in a daze for a moment. She pulled herself out of the memory and then held Muhin's hand tighter. Chapter 799. Mulan knew what Muhin wanted to say, so she comforted Muhin. Xin, don't worry. I'm here. I won't let you live a hard life. She knew how hard life could be. Once she got married, it would be a matter of a lifetime. Since her family was unreliable, as her older sister, she had to help Muhin settle down. Big sister. Muhin looked at Mulan with tears in her eyes. She seemed to be touched by the warmth that Mulan brought to her. Mulan took a deep breath and said to Mrs. Zhu and Madame Qi, "Mother, sister-in-law, we've already separated from the family. Even if I raise my sister, it's my business. My man hasn't said a word yet. When did you take turns to interfere? Besides, mother, sister-in-law, when we separated from the family, we agreed that I won't neglect what I should be filial to mother, but I won't give more than what I should. In other words, I won't give more or less than sister-in-law." After Mulan finished speaking, Mrs. Zhu became even angrier, but she didn't know what to say. Even Madame Qi didn't know what to say. Just as Mulan said, she would give what she should and wouldn't give less than what she gave. What reason did she have to criticize her? In addition, if she asked Mulan to give more to Mrs. Zhu, she would definitely say that the first branch was not as filial as the second branch. By then, Mrs. Zhu would definitely be biased towards the second branch. Mrs. Zhu continued to glare at Mulan angrily. "You're really something. Now my words as your mother-in-law don't have any effect, do they?" Mulan didn't give in at all. She said to Mrs. Zhu calmly, "Mother, you're right. I'll listen to you, but I'll make my own decisions on other matters." You don't have to interfere. Also, my sister is here. She's eating and drinking my food. I'm the one who earns it. So what if I'm happy? It's not like I'm spending the family Zhu's money. Mrs. Zhu was so angry that she couldn't catch her breath. Cough, cough. Madame Qi hurried forward and patted Mrs. Zhu's back twice. She complained to Mulan, second sister-in-law, "You are really too much. How can you say that? Look, what if our mother gets sick from anger?" Mulan curled her lips coldly and said to Madame Qi, "Sister-in-law, what you're saying sounds like you're very filial. If I remember correctly, you ordered me around for a long time before, even throwing me to wash diapers and whatnot. Speaking of which, I'm still not as filial as you." Mulan emphasized the word filial. Of course, Madame Qi knew that Mulan was mocking her. She couldn't help but blush, and she glared at Mulan. This little B***tch was getting more and more eloquent. She didn't know what to say. After hearing Mulan's words, Mrs. Zhu also remembered what happened during that period of time. At that time, her eldest daughter-in-law bullied her very badly. Her son was also protecting his daughter-in-law, so she could only swallow her anger. What else could she do? When she thought of this, Mrs. Zhu angrily pushed Madame Qi's hand away. "You're such a hypocrite. If we're talking about being unfilial, then you're the unfilial one," Mrs. Zhu scolded. "Mother." Madame Qi looked at Mrs. Zhu with some resentment. Really? It was all Mulan's fault. That B***tch. Chapter 800. Mrs. Zhu and Madame Qi were stunned by Mulan's ferocious look. They did not dare to criticize Mulan anymore. Zhao Yun watched from the side. She had planned to help Mulan when she could not handle it, but she did not expect that Mulan could handle it by herself. Zhao Yun looked at Mulan with a trace of appreciation in her eyes. Mulan was getting stronger and stronger now. Ordinary people could not bully her easily. However, Zhao Yun liked Mulan's change. If Zhao Yun was not stronger, she could not deal with those weirdos in the family Zhu. After Mrs. Zhu and Madame Qi stopped talking, Mulan asked Mu Hin to rest in the house for a while. During this period, her younger sister had been working hard. Everyone at home was worrying. The Mu family did not care for their daughters and let Mu Hin do a lot of work. Therefore, Mu Hin looked haggard and thin. Looking at her younger sister, Mulan could not help but feel sorry for her. She was at the prime of her life, but she had to go through all this, she sighed in her heart. It would be better in the future. With her by her side, she would take good care of her younger sister and would not let her suffer. Mu Hin nodded obediently and responded. She turned and went into Mulan's house. Looking at Mu Hin's thin figure, Mulan felt sorry for her again. After Mu Hin went in, Zhao Yun walked to Mulan and said to Mulan, "Sister-in-law Mulan, you're back so soon?" Mulan nodded. There was a trace of sadness between her eyebrows. Zhao Yun sensed that something was wrong with Mulan and asked about the situation. Mulan did not hide anything and told Zhao Yun everything. After hearing this, Zhao Yun could not help but frown. What was going on? She was speechless. She had seen it for herself. She thought about how her cheap father, Zhao Wenhua, was much better than Mulan's father. As for Hu Chunhua, no matter how bad he was, he did not sell his granddaughter. Zhao Yun suddenly thought of a saying, "A person is better than a mountain." There was always someone better. There was always someone better. There was always someone even weirder. However, Zhao Yun did not pay much attention to it. After listening to Mulan's words, Zhao Yun comforted her with a few words. She felt that Mulan was really pitiful. Her younger sister was even more so. "Yun let's sit in the room and talk inside," Mulan pulled Zhao Yun and said. Zhao Yun nodded. It was indeed inconvenient to talk in family Zhu's courtyard. Okay. Zhao Yun responded. After entering, Mu Hin was sitting on a stool. When she saw Zhao Yun come in, she did not recognize Zhao Yun However, after Mulan introduced her, Mu Hin politely greeted Zhao Yun Sister Yun Seeing Mu Hin's timid expression, Zhao Yun also felt a trace of pity. Sigh, Yun I really don't have a choice. I can't watch Xin suffer. I have to give these 5 taels to my maternal family, but I can't take it out in such a short time. Can you lend me 2 taels? During this period of time, Mulan followed Zhao Yun and saved some money. However, the family's expenses were also high. A large portion of it was used to buy things. After all, food was very expensive these days. Their family's food was considered to be quite good. Mulan only had 3 taels. She still needed 2 taels to gather 5 taels. Chapter 801. Mulan was touched. She said to Zhao Yunner, thank you. Don't thank me. Your family needs to get through this difficult time first. Mulan nodded heavily. Yes, Yunner, I know. Okay, now focus on dealing with the next things. Don't think about anything else. Mulan nodded. There aren't any other problems now. We just have to focus on earning money. As long as we work hard and earn more money, we will definitely be able to live a good life. Zhao Yunner felt that Mulan was right. In this era, they would be able to live a good life if they worked hard and earned money. At this moment, Mu Hin said to Mulan, Sister, I will be a burden to you if I stay here and eat your food. How about this? Can you see where I can do some work? I will find a job. Xin, it's okay. Our family is not like before. It's not so hard. Our life will get better and better. You just rest at home these days. If you feel that you are freeloading, you can help me take care of the children or do some housework. Mulan said this to comfort her sister. She was afraid that she would feel guilty or uncomfortable. Sister, I will do it even if you don't say this. But if I don't do any work, you will be the only one supporting the family. Mu Hin's little face looked conflicted. Mulan sighed and comforted her. It's okay. We are sisters. You and I don't have to worry about these things. Just rest well. Mu Hin sighed slightly. Finally, she said to Mulan, but sister, I have to find a job in the future. She could more or less earn some money. When the time came, she could take care of her food and drink. It would be fine as long as she did not burden Mulan. When it came to her sister, she already had a place to stay. Her sister had already given her 5 taels of silver. If she didn't do anything, she would feel guilty. Zhao Yun could understand Mu Hin's mentality. In the end, this little girl was too thin-skinned and didn't want to trouble Mulan. Even though she knew that Mulan was her biological sister. Zhao Yunner thought for a moment, then said to Mulan, Sister-in-law Mulan, how about this? Let your younger sister help out at our stall, and I'll pay her 500 copper coins a month. It just so happens that we need people at our stall. Mu Hin's eyes brightened when he heard that Zhao Yun could help and that he would be paid 500 copper coins a month. She asked Zhao Yunner, Sister Yunner, is that true? Zhao Yunner nodded, but Mulan frowned and asked. But Yunner, doesn't she have your sister Pinger to help? Is it really necessary to hire so many people? Mulan was afraid that Zhao Yunner would deliberately ask Mu Hin to help out their family. Wouldn't that be giving Mu Hin 500 copper coins for free? Then Zhao Yunner would earn less every month. Zhao Yunner smiled and comforted her, Sister-in-law Mulan, I've fired my sister Pinger. She's really talkative. Even if your younger sister doesn't help, I'll probably find another person. Mulan only agreed after hearing Zhao Yunner's words. Zhao Pinger was indeed talkative and liked to cause trouble. No wonder Zhao Yunner didn't want Zhao Pinger to go over. This was also good. She didn't have to worry about being alone in front of her. Chapter 802. Zhao Yun responded. She did not believe that Mu Hin would not be able to do a good job. After all, Mu Hin had done a lot of work in the Mu family. How could she be worse than Zhao Ping? As long as she was nimble and did a good job, it would be fine. Sister, can I really go and help? Mu Xian blinked her eyes with a little bit of expectation. I've already said that you can go. Of course, you can. Mu Xian's eyes were filled with joy, as if she was very excited. How could she not be happy when there was good news the moment she came over? Her goal now was to work hard together with Mulan and lead a better life. I'll definitely work hard. Mu Hin suppressed her excitement and said. Zhao Yun and Mulan chatted for a while before Zhu Eru returned from his work in the fields. He did not know what had happened at home. He did not expect Mulan to return so soon. He was stunned to see the three women as soon as he entered the house. Mu Hin hurriedly called out to Zhu Eru timidly, brother-in-law. Zhu Eru came back to his senses and smiled at Mu Hin. Little sister, you're here. Mu Hin responded bitterly. Eru. Mulan hesitated for a while and looked at Zhu Eru. She looked as if she had something to say to him. What's wrong? Zhu Eru asked gently. Eru. I have something to discuss with you. What is it? Just say it. Do you need to think and hesitate to tell me something? Eru, Xian might have to stay at our house. Upon hearing Mulan's words, Zhu Eru could not help but be curious about the reason. However, Mulan explained the reason after a while. When he heard what the Mu family had done, Zhu Eru was furious. How could they do this? Therefore, he said to Mulan, little sister can't go back like this. Let little sister stay in our house. As long as we have food to eat, she will definitely not be left out. Zhu Eru's words had undoubtedly reassured Mu Hin. Before he came, Mu Hin was still worried that his brother-in-law would not agree to it. Now, he did not have to worry anymore. Especially when Zhu Eru said these words with awe-inspiring righteousness, he couldn't help but feel moved. His sister's wife was so nice. If it were someone else, they probably wouldn't agree. It was her elder sister's fortune to be able to marry such a man. When Zhao Yun heard Zhu Eru's words, the corners of her mouth curled up. The image of Zhu Eru as a tough guy deepened in her heart. Now, there was no need to worry about the arrangement of Mulan. However, there was one thing that was more troublesome. It was that there was only one room in Mulan's house. If Mu Hin stayed, he could only squeeze in with Mulan's family. The house was already small to begin with. Now that there was one more person, it was very inconvenient. In addition, most importantly, Mu Hin was not a child. If Mulan and Zhu Eru were doing it at night, it would be fine if the children saw it. After all, the children did not understand this kind of thing. Mu Hin was already an adult and understood this kind of thing. If Mu Hin saw it, it would indeed be embarrassing. Zhao Yun knew that Mulan's current condition was not enough to build a house. It seemed that it would take a long time to save up some money. Chapter 803. Sister-in-law Mulan, why don't your family build a house with mine? Zhao Yun said. When Zhao Yun said this, Mulan was slightly stunned. I say, why don't you build a house first? That way, your family can be more convenient. Otherwise, it's too small for a big family to squeeze into a house. Zhao Yun said with a smile. In fact, Mulan was also worried about this problem. Now, she didn't have the money to build a house at all. If she could, she also wanted to build a house earlier, not waiting until now. Seeing Mulan's hesitation, Zhao Yun said, Sister-in-law Mulan, I can help you pay for the money first. I'll deduct it from the money we earn from our stall later. It just so happens that if your family builds a house with mine, you'll definitely save a little money. If my family uses something, your family can also use it. Mulan thought for a moment. She was a little tempted, but she also felt that she owed Zhao Yun too much. Yun you've helped me enough. If you continue to do this, looking at Mulan's hesitation, Zhao Yun couldn't help but laugh. Okay, sister-in-law Mulan, you don't have to be polite with me. You have to build a house sooner or later. Your house is only so big. Every day, your mother-in-law and sister-in-law will chase after you and talk about this and that. You don't feel annoyed, but I feel uncomfortable every time I come over. Then. Okay, Yun, AI, if it weren't for you, I don't know what I would do. Mulan sighed. Mulan wasn't unaware that her life was so good. Zhao Yun's contribution was too great. Otherwise, she would probably be separated. Now, she wouldn't even have food to eat, let alone build a house. Okay, don't be pretentious with me. I don't like this. It's almost time. I have to go back and cook. Zhao Yun got up and said goodbye. Mulan nodded and responded. She was ready to send Mulan out. Wait. Zhu Eru shouted. Zhao Yun looked back with some doubts. Zhu Eru said. Yun, I caught some loaches from the field. Why don't you take some back? You can eat it at night. Zhu Eru thought that if Zhao Yun helped his family, he naturally should share some good things with Zhao Yun. Otherwise, he would be too heartless. The loach was not bought with money. It was more or less a token of their family's sincerity to serve it as a dish. Loach was indeed a delicacy for Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun did not refuse, but nodded in agreement. Thank you, Brother Eru. It's okay. Zhu Eru smiled and went out and gave half of the caught loach to Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun carried the small basket and went back. As soon as she left the family Zhu's courtyard, she heard the voice of Mulan's sister-in-law, Madame Qi. She said to Zhu Eru, second brother, you actually brought back so many loaches. Why didn't you give them to me? I can cook them for your eldest brother, mother, and third brother. Madame Qi looked at Zhu Eru's loaches eagerly. She hadn't eaten delicious food for a long time. Although loaches weren't very good things, at least they had some meat flavor. Zhu Eru's mouth twitched. Seeing his sister-in-law's greedy look, he was a little annoyed. Even if their family had a little bit of good food, his sister-in-law would look at it eagerly. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.